So I think today I'm going to do just kind of a guided run, and then I'll update the written guide as well. There's not a lot of like massive changes from the previous guide to this one. So I'm going to take the same map I played yesterday because I know it functions reasonably, and we're going to play it again. Just timing it for fun. I don't even know why I'm really timing it. All right. So you're going to get into the map. You're going to grab plates, and you're going to look for one coal rock. You do not have to mimic my hotbar, because my hotbar is famously chaotic in the Factorio speedrunning community, and probably not something to strive to imitate. When you open up the main blueprint book that you have, there's going to be the first 3 things that you want right away. I usually put the main base on the bar, the on-patch book on the bar, which I put here, and the drill pattern book, which I put on the bar here. The drill pattern book will give you different patterns of drills, all the way from 10 down to 2, and then a whole bunch of singles. Usually I would be mostly using the 30 drill long and the 30 drill wide at the start of the run. Next thing you're going to want is your on-patch book. This is the first thing you're going to want to place right when you get into the run after you pick up your coal rock. Place this, let's say here. The drills that are going to be on iron are going to be these 3 rows of drills right here. And so obviously these ones would be mixed on copper. So we're going to try to place the patch in a way that gets it as much iron coverage as you can possibly give it. So let's see what it looks like there. 1 drill mixed, we can live with that. And copper goes down here. Now these are obviously on iron. This should be copper. But it's not that hard to bring the copper down and around. I prioritize the iron. Next thing you're going to want also in the on-patch book is your little iron blueprint. So I'll put that there, making sure all of these touch iron. And then you've got a science one that can hook onto it, and an assembler one that goes next to the science. So the first thing you're going to craft is a couple stone furnaces, 3 gears. Wait for this to produce a single plate. That's going to let you craft another burner drill, and then you're going to have this set up with 2 drills, 2 furnaces, so you can go get coal rocks. So it should look something like this. So while you're chopping rocks, just keep making sure to craft furnaces as you go. You're looking to get, you know, a couple hundred coal and stone if possible. Come back and then start mass producing the burner drills so that you can finish the entire iron setup. Now, everyone's mileage may vary on this a little bit. I do not stop crafting drills and placing them on iron until iron is completely done. If your pace is a little different, you might find that you need coal drills earlier, or if you got very, very few coal from the rocks. So all of our drills are now done. Our setup looks like this. We've got coal, we've got copper, we got stone, we got iron. Now we have to set up a power plant. So for crafting, we're going to do 3 steam engines, 1, 2, 3, 3 boilers, 1, 2, 3, a pump, and then 5 burner inserters. And then, like I said, 15, 20 right clicks of pole. So I'm going to 20, and then a lab. Make sure that you pick up as much coal as you can. For me, I try to get like at least 140. If you're slower, you might want to push that to 2 or even 300 when you're coming over here. And then you're going to, in your same book, your on-patch book, scroll down 1 more. You should get access to the power plant. Find somewhere that it clicks onto the lake like this. And then you're just going to build the first 3 boilers, steam engines, and the setup that feeds coal into them. Make sure when you do build this that there's not like a tree sitting right here, because it will not let coal pass. And then you're just going to drag poles back to where you initially set up your assemblers. And if these 2 blueprints don't connect, so just make sure there's a pole in the middle to connect them. You can always click a pole to make sure it has green power on it, to make sure that you actually did the drags correctly and that power got brought. So I've just finished crafting my lab. As soon as the lab is done, you're right clicking red science twice to make 10 bottles, and then you can set up your tech order, which is going to be automation, drills, logistics for underground belts. You're going to make blue arms, steel, logistics, science. Then you're going to place your lab, put science in. That is the first split of the run. While we're crafting science, make sure you keep shoving it into the lab so it doesn't stop researching. And then the goal right now is you're going to craft 30 circuits, so 6 right clicks, 50 gears, so 10 right clicks. And then you're gonna leave your lab set up with all 10 science so that it can craft all the way to automation. And then you're gonna run to trees and try to chop till you have 240 wood in your inventory. So once you have a 240 wood, your crafting queue is done. You have researched automation. You're gonna make 10 assemblers, so 2 right clicks, boom, boom. And you're going to set up those 10 assemblers here. I usually end up crafting like 20 wire at this point, just to speed up the rate at which I can make green circuits. What we're trying to do right now is make as many green circuits as fast as possible so that we can finish this build over here as fast as we can. And then we're gonna get into setting up drills for the main base. While you're doing all of this stuff, you should be using all of your stone to make as many furnaces as you can. So once you have enough circuits, I went way overboard here because again, playing slowly, you're gonna be making 10 yellow inserters, so 2 right clicks, 2 assemblers, and 2 labs. I then pick up 2 of these assemblers and then copy this format where there's 2 circuits, 3 gear, 3 wire, and then make sure these don't stop crafting. So refeed those. Then you're gonna build this little mini science setup. Once you have that set up, your goal is going to be researching drills. And while drills are researching, you're trying to craft everything you need to build the first line of drills and inserters and belts and furnaces. What that is 10 right clicks of belt to make 50 crafts or 100 belts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you're gonna do 8 right clicks of inserters to get 40. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're gonna do at least 10 right clicks of pole to get 50 crafts of pole, which is at least 100 poles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Could go to 12. Once you have that stuff set up, make sure that you leave as much iron and stuff into these for intermediates as you can. And while all this stuff is crafting, you also have to put copper into these science assemblers because they have no automation of copper. So make sure that you feed copper into these as the science is going, and while you're waiting for electric drills, you're trying to build the first iron line. The first iron line is the one closest to copper, so there's 3 lines. It's not the one on the edge. You're looking for the one that's more in the middle of the build, closer to these assemblers. And then this would be the copper down here. So again, I would normally have this done before drills research. First thing I do is a line of belt and furnaces, and then you're gonna drag coal into all of these furnaces. And now you have a setup that is ready to take 25 iron drills and make iron. And when all that's done, timing wise, you should be coming back to your assembler setup, and you should have the miner tech researching right around that time. And then you should be able to handcraft 25 drills. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the next thing you're gonna do once the 25 drills are crafting and then get placed is you're gonna be making 3 steam engines, 1, 2, 3, and a singular pipe. And you're looking to expand this power from 3 steam engines to 6 steam engines with that 1 pipe. And then come to the box and fill it. Ideally, if you have a wooden box, it will be full right now. You will fill it all the way. The first thing you're gonna need is 4 more assemblers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually just pop an extra wire up here, pop down 2 more, copy the gear and put it on all of them. So now you should have a setup that looks something like this with 12 assemblers, 3 wire, 2 circuits, and the rest on gear. And then what you're gonna do is just manually feed copper into these, iron into literally everything so that you start mass producing intermediates, and make sure that wire ends up in these 2 green circuit assemblers. And then your goal for handcrafting right now is gonna be to make 20 drills, electric mining drills. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at some point you're gonna take 2 of the assemblers that are doing gear here, and you're gonna switch one of them to belt, and you're gonna switch another one to inserters. Once you have your drills and enough belts, you're trying to bring 10 drills worth of coal to the base. And where you are bringing those drills is right here where you see this complicated insertion. You're bringing it between the inserters and hooking it onto this iron lane. Then you're building the 2 inserters at the bottom, which are going to run coal down to here, and copper needs to be hooked on at the other side of this. Now we need 10 drills on copper. So I'll start up here. Again, we're bringing those all the way down and around. Whoops. And flooding them up with this coal. And then when I'm building the copper, I usually run it to right around here where you'll see the awkward change in pattern for the inserters. And you're just looking to build this set of furnaces Now you've got your coal coming in, your copper coming in, you've got your first lane of iron. Now you're looking to build the output for all of this. And into your handcrafting queue, you should put 3 splitters. So 1, 2, 3. All you need to know is the interaction here is weird. If there's a blueprint here and you drag through, it will not build the second side. So yeah, just be aware of the finicky dragging around splitters. I apologize for this awkward staircase of copper, but yeah, this part sucks. Just wiggle waggle the copper down here. You're trying to get it to all these assemblers. You're just ending it right there. And then make sure all your iron outputting is in. So now you have a setup of iron, copper running into these circuit assemblers, and you're basically ready to start picking up your assembler setup up here, shifting it down into the setup down here. So for handcrafting now, we need to make a total of 25 red arms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 blue arms, 1, 2, 3, 15 iron chests, 1, 2, 3. And you should, if you've fed these correctly, have more than enough intermediates to do all of this. Then you're going to do 35 assemblers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then after that, you can handcraft literally anything you might be missing. Now, one other thing I want to go over is we lost an iron drill. There's several ways to handle that. If you see a little gap here, you can put an iron drill here, and you can put an inserter here, and that will fix the iron drill that we lost on the tip. All right, so these assemblers. So this section here, I do all in and then output in the middle of the gear and output at the end of the circuit. So in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So then what you're trying to do is take the main line that you've just created. So now you've got a belt that's sushiing circuits, gears, and iron plates all into the same belt. You're looking to bring that through the patch right to its end right here. And then you're setting up power. So there's some nice drags for power here. You can start here and go straight up with a small turn that goes straight over, and then down, small turn, straight back up, and then over and straight down. A little hard to get used to that one, but there is a nice drag there when you start getting used to it. Then you're setting up all of these assemblers. You're taking all your iron and you're manually half feeding all of these assemblers. Try to get all of those assemblers making pipe, gear in here. Make the inner line of inserters. These inserters can be hard to see. There's like little tips for it, but wherever you make boxes, you know that adjacent to that, there's going to be a red arm feeding that box. If you have a hard time seeing these red arms, it's nighttime or whatever reason, you're on an iron patch, just look for the box and then look for the red arm that goes with it. The ones with gears are a little easier to see. I would Q click these as much as you can, but direction for facing, all the ones that are facing into the boxes have no little anti-gear symbol on them. And the ones that go into the assemblers are all facing the other way with the anti-gear symbol. So if you're looking for clean drags, just make sure you rotate between those two things. And then there's blue arms all here that you can place now as well. Now you should have one line moving, and then you should have all of this manually fed with iron. So now you're making drills, inserters, belts, and you're filling up a box at the end with intermediates. And you also crafted a ton of pipe and a ton of gear. While all of that is doing its thing, you can come and flush out all of these furnaces because they're likely full of iron at this point. Make sure that you keep iron in those, empty out all the pipes from here, and now you're looking to craft 15 boilers, 1, 2, 3, and 30 steam engines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13 burner inserters, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then you should have also crafted 20 drills while you were running around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then yeah, just keep flushing these boxes. The more you keep this line empty, the smoother it will run. Power shut off because we're going really slow. Your goal right now is to get coal to power and set up a proper power plant. 5, 6, 7, at least 15 drills in this. Okay. Now we have a power setup with coal running to it. So when you come back, your next goal is to build as much of the iron here as possible. So first thing we're going to do now is try to build the second line of iron. That's the one that's adjacent to the first one we built. You're going to build these 4 inserters, which are going to bring coal up this way. Do not build this belt going into this. These inserters go up. It is very misleading and looks funny. So now you should have a half line of coal here. I try to get this one belt running as fast as possible just so that as much coal filters in here as I can. And then I visit my mini mall here, which can fill me with belt inserters and everything I need. You can keep filling this with iron plates if you have to. You'll see at this section of the patch that's all blue inserters. there's these belt that kiss each other right here, and you can tell the kissing is happening where these two marked belts are. So I always grab the unmarked belt and I drag it out like this. So this is not coming straight through here. These belts are kissing. By design, it is intended to be like this. So this one comes out and goes this way. We're not going to worry about the other one for now. We're going to build these inserters like this. And now all the iron that we can get moving from here is going to start making gear. So we've been manually feeding this gear up until now. The goal right now, as fast as we possibly can make happen, is to stop manually feeding that by getting this section of iron turned on. And now we can start working on the next line of iron at the top. So typically here, I drag from here because I still don't have any undergrounds. Okay. Notice that on this line, there was supposed to be a drill here, but it's mixed with copper. So this one is only 24. They should be 25 each. So again, same as last time, just find somewhere you can sneak in a drill in the middle here. And in this case, it can just butt up against the line because that's the side it's on. Now we're at 25. Now, this science setup we have here, we're going to want to rip it up because again, we got the science we needed. I don't always, but I try to rip up the inserters first because if you don't, you're going to leave a mess like this. So now we have a bit of a mess on the patch. And if for some reason later we belted through those sitting items, it could cause a problem in the base. It could. Now that we have our 3 iron lanes done, yeah, now we're going to finish coal and copper. So coal that's running into the patch was right here. It has 10 drills on it. You need this to go to at least 15. I usually do 17. Now we have 17 drills. All right, then the copper. So there's a few ways to handle the copper. You need 30 drills on copper total, and it is 15 drills that hit this line right here. Okay. And then 15 more drills that hit this line right here. You can make some splitters. You can also make a bunch of undergrounds. And then let's just get 30 drills onto this one belt maybe. All right, so again, if your copper is really, really annoyingly far away, you can just do this one belt line. And then right here, you can splitter it and send the other section this way. Now right here, you're looking to pop this line through here. So you can do one of two things. You can underground like this and then come through. Or if for whatever reason you didn't want to do that, you can just bump around like that. And then we're just trying to build the rest of the copper here. Is the copper build awkward? Yeah, it's awkward. Is the copper build annoying? Yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Now you've got a fully running copper build. You've got 3 full builds of iron. Your patch is processing stuff here. Now we just have to do some little cleanup stuff before we go to the main base. First, we're going to start talking about the crafting queue. So I've already made a bunch of undergrounds and splitters. You're going to need to craft 80 red inserters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 50 blue inserters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 30 iron chests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 20 assemblers.
Double wide
1, 2, 3, 4.
God damn.
20 assemblers. I usually make sure I've made 20 splitters and at least 20 crafts of undergrounds. I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again because I did it earlier before I did copper. So some cleanup stuff we want to do at the end of the patch here. There's these 2 assemblers making gear. Get those made. There's this line of undergrounds that's bringing coal up like this. Make that. Then on this top section, you're going to make these 3 blue inserters, these power poles, this belt. I make this 1 blue inserter right here because then this drag just goes through cleanly. Then you're going to drag this belt down, and this is where the kiss happens. These 2 belts are going to kiss, and you're going to bring your copper around like this. You can start cleaning up these assemblers that you left here over here. Now, you might run into major inventory problems here because if you're slower, this section is going to be super full. So my inventory can't handle all of this. You need to make 37 labs. That should help. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. But yeah, your goal right now is to pick up these red inserters feeding this buffer and then clear this buffer. If you can't clear the buffer, you can start leaving plates, whatever you need to leave in a chest here, but you have to be able to pick up all of these chests All right, so now you should end up with output that looks like this. All right, so right here, you've got a half belt of coal, you've got a half belt of copper, and the middle one is just full of intermediates. You're going to now get your main base blueprint out and place it. So as a beginner, you're more than welcome to start with stage 0.1, which should flow naturally up to the 1. If you see me play, I just start with 1. I find it easier for me to just start with number 1, and then just build what I know to build. If you are a beginner, start with 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3, and just you're basically then just going to be able to build every single entity that you see, every single entity, the whole time. I am going to do this run this time just starting with 1. This is what I would normally do in a real run. I would start with 1. I'm going to do that here too. So the giant line that you see going north-south, that is the front of the base, and it's showing you like as much detail as possible if you need to see a visual of like what am I covering and what am I not covering. All right, let's bring our belts up. All right. You are looking to bring your belt to this little jut out here. It is next to the stone furnace assembler. It's got a filtered splitter that does coal, and the filtered splitter that has coal and this belt right here on it is what's going to accept your iron and coal mixed belt. So that's going to go right here. Sometimes these 3 belts will be aligned the other way because the patch is flippable. The main base is not flippable. So if you see it lined up like this, the middle one will pop through here and hit this, and then the copper will have to go through both and go into the top. You always want coal, mixed belt, copper belt in that order. If it was flipped, it's a lot easier because you don't need to use these undergrounds. You can just go coal, middle, copper, and it's perfect. Sometimes it's flipped. So when you're coming in, you're looking to build the 2 splitters that are handling the coal inputting, and then there's gonna be an underground here and an underground here just to get through all this mess. And you should just be looking to take these exact 3 belts through the base. Don't forget to connect power into here somewhere, and then just make sure, clicking a line, that there is power in one of these poles. Now, so as you're building these belts and poles, you might come to a spot like this where the base just ends. It's just because it was black and we couldn't see it. So just keep grabbing your main base blueprint, lining it up. Visual indicators for lining this up, I find one of the easiest ones is this section right up here. It's like very distinct at this early part of the game, so you can easily use that to like line up the base if you're looking for something to see. And then just hold shift, click, get the rest of the base in. All right, so for reasonable drags here, what I usually do is I try to get the power pole infrastructure in first. So power pole drag, as you come through here, there's a nice drag straight through, slightly down, up to pipe, and then across back this way. And then there's one pole in the middle here. And then from here, you can drag up, over, up, over. Just practice. There's a lot of visual clutter here, so getting used to it is challenging. I know it's like a lot to look at when you're building it. Now, I typically try to build the inserters here first, and the reason for that is that there's logic on the belts and the inserters that won't fully work unless the inserters are built. So you'll see if I don't build the inserters, you're gonna watch this belt run everything all the way down the line, including the copper. And it's supposed to work, and you'll notice there's filters on the arms. It is supposed to work such that copper cannot get through this belt. So you'll notice right now there's a belt reading here, and it won't let copper get by this point, so as to prevent this clutter at the end. Same thing with like belts can't get by here, inserters can't get by here. So right now I have belt here and drills can never enter this box. So just make sure if you did build that in a weird order that you flush the belt so that it can start running properly. Literally the exact same logic applies down here. If I don't have the blue inserters up, then things will run past where they're supposed to run. So if that happens, just flush the belt manually and then it should start running fine. So with the primary inputs done, I build all of the outputs, even though you don't need them all right now. I just find it easier for flow to build all the outputs. And then you're looking to build this one little gear guy, pop the underground through, connect all this belt, connect all this belt. And then this output's a little hard to see. You got belts that instead of kissing, they're running away from each other. So belt coming in and up, and then a belt coming over. Now you've got your mixed belt of gear and circuits, and you're borrowing gear and sending them up here for science. And then later on, we can build these two for iron. We're not worried about iron right now. So this is basically what you should have right now. You should have all of your inputs working correctly. You should have your gear circuit output so that you can borrow some gears and send them up here. Because ultimately, all we really want is our 2 science belts. We got our red science belt here that's got gear and copper. We got a green science belt here that's got inserters and belt on it. Then we just got to build our science setup up this way. And then when you come into the labs, and I believe this is the case even if you're using the 0.1 prints, there's going to be 2 sections of labs. And the reason for that is it's letting you, the player, choose which one to build. Because if you happen to have like 1,000 trees or rocks on only one of them, it gives you the choice to build the top or the bottom. In a perfect world, this one is a little cleaner, but it gives you the choice if it's covered in trees or rocks to take the other one. You do not need to build both. You only want to build one. You've made 40 labs at this point. You're looking to place only that many and not more. And then even though you don't need all these red arms, I just build them all right now because you're going to have blue signs on the other belts in the near future. All right, that's your green sign split. When you come back after green signs, you're looking to build the 4 gear, the 4 pipe, and get them running. You're going to want iron flowing properly into this little mall now. So we're going to build these 4 splitters, these 2 belt right here. You're going to bring your gear and your circuits up. I usually build to these 2 splitters right here.
Pay attention, man.
T? Yeah, you're right. I didn't T. Thanks. Sorry. Yeah, forgot tech. So when you're building the mall, bring these 2 belts up to this 2nd splitter. So now you have iron flowing into your mall and you're making gear and pipe. Science. So once you actually build your green science, you're going to need your next section of science. You want automation. You want the steel engines. Steel furnaces. You want engines, red belt, car, fluid handling, and oil gathering. That's the list I go with. So yeah, there is a deliberate handcrafting queue right now. So for handcrafting, I've kept it as easy as possible at this phase in the run. You want 3 right clicks of just about every major thing that you're not otherwise making. So that's iron chests, 1, 2, 3. Undergrounds, 1, 2, 3. Splitters, 1, 2, 3. Red arms, 1, 2, 3. Blue arms, 1, 2, 3. I'm a little low on iron plates. I'm just gonna grab some. Assembler ones, 1, 2, 3. So not a lot of thought required. It's just 3 right clicks of kind of all the basic stuff that you would not otherwise be making. Then you can pick up as many drills, belts, inserters, wire, all of the different things you're gonna need to make the base, as much as you can possibly pick up. Now again, if you're slower, like it's actually too much. You want to make sure you have some wire because you need to make more poles soon. And the thing you're trying to do now is start the processing of steel and brick. So this belt is meant to have steel on one side, brick on the other. Steel comes from here, brick comes from up here. Inserters in. When you're doing that inner line of inserters, drag them all as inserting into the furnaces. Then when you're doing these, you can just go through and fix all the ones in the middle. There are splitter ghosts here and here and here that we're not going to build. They're on the inside. And later on, we are going to delete these splitters to allow more iron to come into here. But we're just preventing that temporarily. So don't worry about the inner splitter. Don't build that. All right, so we've got our steel ready to process. Let's go get some iron. And again, I'm just using my blueprint book that's got drills. And you can hold shift and drag these and get lots of nicely placed, easy to build patterns. And then you're also at the exact same time looking to go get a full lane of stone. All right, so now we should have a line of iron running into here where our steel is intending to be. We should have a line of stone running in right here underneath this furnace, hitting this splitter. That's where our brick is intending to be. I did forget one thing that you should do before you leave the base. You should build this coal line. So this set of dual splitters at the bottom here is going to run exclusively coal, and you want to run this down here so that coal can start filtering into your steel. And you should do that before going to get iron and stone, because the buffer time of coal getting into all the furnaces is something that will slow you down. So do that. When should we be going yep, 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 or pop, pop, pop when building? Yeah, you always want to be saying yep, yep, yep. Anytime you're building really anything, the more you say yep, 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 the better. So you know, as I'm doing the furnaces, okay, yep, 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 good, and yep, 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 and yep, 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 okay, that's good, and yep. Yep. And right here, okay, like that. And that there. Something like that is about perfect. I'd say do it like that. It does make it faster. Yeah, it's like when you have a car. So like you guys tell me which of these two cars is faster, okay? I just want you to tell me. Like I'm gonna build a car right here. This like red fire that's running down the side of it on the side of his car. Which of these two cars is faster? The one that's got like plain paint on it of one color, or the car that's got the massive painted fire going down the side? It's pretty obvious which of these two cars is faster. The fire that's here on the side of the car is kind of like when you're doing a speed run and you're going yep, here, right, yes, here, yep. That's basically what the fire is. It makes it way faster. It speeds it up quite a bit. Okay, when you get this set up, make sure you don't forget to bring coal up into your brick. So there's a single inserter here, and all I do is take this belt and just drag it and stop it right there. So now we should have a setup that's bringing brick. You can see some brick coming. It's bringing steel. It's getting steel and brick to these two assemblers. I typically pick up a little bit of steel here, and I make at least 2 assembler 2s, and I upgrade these steel furnaces to assembler 2s. I find that the time that I have to go build power and come back, if I don't have them as assembler 2s, it's less likely I'll have enough furnaces. But your mileage may vary. And then you're going to start crafting boilers, steam engines, offshore pumps, burner drills. You need 32 boilers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. 64 steam engines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 32 burner inserters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. 6 offshore pumps. 5 and 1. On your way out of the base, this belt right here, you need to bring a full lane of coal to this. So as you are leaving, bring this out of the base with you and bring it to a coal patch somewhere. In a perfect world, this would be 30 drills, but it does not have to be. 28 is fine. Now that you have coal running to the base, you're going to get more coal, and you're going to run more coal down to the power plant. And bring this down and figure out where you're going to put your power. So for me, it's in the on patch book. If you scroll to this large power plant build, this is what we're building. You'll notice that on one side of it, there is pipe, and on the other side of it, there's not. Typically, what I try to do in most runs is the side that's got the pipe right here, I'm trying to put on the lake side. And then the side over here is where I'm trying to bring my coal belt into, like that. Does it have to be exactly like that? No, not really. It's just what I do visually for visual clarity. Make sure that your power is connected to this new power plant. Now, your goal is to get all 6 of the offshore pumps you placed into your power. The idea being that you don't need that many offshore pumps, but the idea being is that the main base does. And oftentimes your power plant will be facing the main base, and later on we are going to grab water from the power and bring it to the main base. So I'm going to put down every single offshore pump that I have, and then I'm going to connect all of them to this newly built power. Once you've done that, you're going to need more trees. I usually chop about 200 more wood at this point. Now, the goal next is to bring 2 lanes of iron to the base. I'm going to come down here and get the patch that's down here. And let's send this one over here. All right, so now you should have 2 lines of iron going into steel, 1 line of iron going into this new iron section here, which you can start building. All right, so steel furnaces, you're looking to get this box to have at least 96 steel furnaces in it so that you can upgrade steel. I had like 200, again, just playing a little slower. Every single one of these, and then once these are all upgraded, again, you'll notice right now 2 lines of iron are coming in here, but they can't both get used because there's a splitter here preventing that. Once and only once all of these are upgraded to steel, you can place a power pole on top of this splitter. Place a power pole on top of that splitter. The reason we place a power pole is that if for some reason we made a mistake, so let's say I was building this section and I deleted this thing that has logic on it, I need to restamp my base now to get that logic back. And if I restamp my base and all I did was right click this splitter, it's going to put it back. Place a power pole so that you cannot accidentally put that splitter back. Now 2 lines of iron are coming into the steel. I won't get into the logic of how this works. It is sushi steel, meaning there's coal filtering down this iron belt, and it will just work. Trust it, it will work fine. Then make sure you finish building this iron up here. All right, so this new iron line that you've added, you're gonna build the splitter at the end, and you're gonna send this up. You're prioritizing the section that comes up into the mall before the section that goes down here into circuits and stuff. Some easy little tricks for fast building. I usually build these blue copper inserters and then run this belt down here with 1 clean drag. After that is built, this can then just punch through. So clean, easy. Now you've got a full line of iron coming into your main mall. You can build this bottom section here that will run this iron through the back side of the mall. And now we can build out the rest of our mall. And then the last thing you're going to need is you're going to want some assembler 2s. So if you don't have any, you want to craft ideally something in the range of like 40 of them right now. So just grab a little bit of steel, grab a little bit of plates, make sure you've got a little bit of gear and a little bit of circuits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As you're making those, you want to put the engines down, and then you should have some amount of pipe. Oh, I forgot the underground pipe. Some amount of gear and some amount of steel. And you want to fill these assemblers with gear, with pipe, and with steel, so that while you're doing other stuff, they are making engines. You're looking to get enough engines to make a car and 40 pumps. I forgot to do my research queue. I'm sorry. After I did power, you should be doing lab speed 1, lab speed 2, circuit network, tool belt, and then it doesn't really matter too much. I do usually just a mix of these things. The ones I prioritize the most is lab speed 1, lab speed 2, circuit network, and tool belts. You're going to want to make 15 pump jacks. Oops, I don't have gear. 1, 2, 3, didn't have pipe. And then you're going to want to make 9 storage tanks. And then after that, you're mostly waiting for engines to finish so you can make your car. And you want to make 40 pumps. So you're letting engines craft until you can make 40 pumps. Also make sure that you take assembler 2s and upgrade your green and red science all to assembler 2s. And then the next thing you need to do, usually I do while I'm waiting for engines to craft, is to set up this copper input section that you can start buffering material that's going to be used for your blue science. Hold on, I noticed that I'm out of undergrounds and stuff, so let me just finish the crafting section. So engines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I notice my inventory is completely full of stone. Let's clear that. Pick up all of these if you can. If you find your inventory is really bad, you're also going to need to craft a ton of underground pipe. And what you're trying to prepare right now before you go get oil, so ideally before you go get oil, you are trying to have this section be buffering green circuits, gear, and pipe, all of which you're going to need a vast amount of for this blue science setup. And it's just better if it starts buffering earlier. So we're going to make sure this iron that's coming out of the iron lane we set up is able to flow down here. All right, so this is the stuff you're looking to have built. Okay, so yeah, before going to oil, you want it to look something like this. You're going to have your setup for copper wire, your setup for circuits, your setup for pipe and gear. Your iron is flowing down into here as it should. You are buffering circuits, you're buffering gear, you're buffering pipe. Only thing I have not done is actually building this copper lane and then bringing coal to here. But copper is literally only needed at the very, very end to start buffering circuits for your blue science build. And so it's completely reasonable to do it last and to not prioritize it. There. Okay, copper's running towards the base, and then conveniently on this map, oil is like literally right here. So after your copper's running, you should now have your entire buffering setup done, and now we can go touch oil. There's a list of things you need to do ideally as soon as you touch oil. So as soon as you touch oil, you should try to be crafting 14 oil refineries. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. The next thing you're going to need after the oil refineries is 20 chem plants, which I can't do because I didn't bring any gear. And as far as the amount of oil, you're looking for this to be at least 12,000 to 13,000. Now, we built a lot of pumps, and part of the reason for that is if oil could not make it to the base, this one line of oil I'm dragging, you might find it so far away it doesn't make it. If that's the case,
you're just going to stop like this and add 3 pumps. It has to be 3 to get the amount of oil that you need. And set it up just like this. Okay, so once your oil is in the base, you're then gonna need to bring water to the base. So let's build these pumps here. I'm just gonna take 2 seconds and I'm gonna go get gear so that I can make chem plants. Tech. So another thing I completely forgot to mention, the second that you touch oil, so I told you to craft refineries, I forgot to tell you to do tech. You need to immediately click blue science in the tech tree and go plastic, red circuits, sulfur, blue science, and then batteries, bulk inserters, and inserter cap 1. So right now I'm bringing water to the base. These 5 pumps that are here are responsible for water to the base. And like I said earlier, we're going to dovetail off of this power plant that we know has like 6 offshore pumps in it. So I can just pull water right out of that boiler to the base and it should be perfectly fine. Little tricks for building these pipe sections. If you build all the regular pipes, so 2 and then 1, 2 and then 1, you can then just drag these undergrounds with a straight drag and no clicking and no thinking. And with all of the regular pipe built like that, I can then just take this 1 underground pipe and I'm just gonna click and hold. I'm not min-maxing this in any way. I'm not doing any like skilled play. I'm just dragging through. Just a clean drag all the way through and it'll build it all perfectly. And now you've got oil coming straight through your prints. You do not want to drag this pipe full of mixed fluid into here, meaning this pipe very specifically, because you want to be able to do this first. If this pipe was touching here, you would not be able to drag this correctly sometimes because it gets... The game gets angry that you have like an intention of mixing fluids and it doesn't let you. So just, I always build this pump section first. So now we've got our oil processing splitting into different things. To talk about what's going on here for oil, because this might confuse some people, the refineries are going to be mixing fluids. All the fluids when we stamp advanced oil are going to go into this 1 pipe. And then that 1 pipe is going to separate the fluids here via pumps into these tanks for holding. Once you get those refineries done, you're trying to build these chem plants right here to sulfuric acid so that you can start making plastic, sulfur, and I turn on the sulfuric acid one right now. Technically you don't need it until batteries, but I always just turn it on now. Now you're looking to build the most complicated section of the entire hand-built part of this run, which is the blue science. I apologize that this is very speedrunnery and hard to build. It is. It's very speedrunnery and hard to build. All right, so to build this blue science section, we're gonna bring these belts through here. This is the wire assembler should be 1 in and 2 out. It's 1 in and 2 out. So little tricks that I have, I build these 2 pipe right here. This little like pipe zigzag. Once that's done, it will let me take this belt and I can click from here and drag straight through everything else and come to here. I'm not gonna get into like the little things that I do to build this. There's like a lot of little tricks here building this faster, but I think most of it is just practice and building it as many times as possible. And I don't always do it the exact same way, but it's just Q clicking like crazy and finding little patterns that can help you build it all quicker. And now you got blue science. Easy peasy. Next thing we're gonna do is start prepping batteries and make sure you get all of these stuff that makes the red boxes, the steel chests, makes the bots themselves. You don't need to build the alarm. There's 2 power poles on either side of it. It's a little confusing looking. And then we can get into this section that makes your electric engines and your bot frames. Okay. Once you've built that stuff, there's a few things that I do to go faster. The main thing you're looking to do right now is to just get out of the base and get as many ore lanes as possible. You can also do some handcrafting. So it can typically be helpful to pre-handcraft some steam engines and boilers and burner inserters for your base, because this first thing your bot's going to be trying to build is stuff for power. But typically right now, I would pump out as many steam engines and boilers and burner inserters as I reasonably can, And then the only other thing would maybe be some chem plants. So feel free to make a bunch of that stuff. Otherwise, just put all of your plates, gears, and circuits back into these boxes. All you're going to want to pick up is a good amount of belt. You can take all the drills you can possibly get. And again, if you're super slow and that's like the amount of drills you're going to pick up is just a crazy number that's going to kill your inventory, then just pick up a couple hundred. But yeah, lots of belts, lots of underground belts, lots of drills, and then you are ready to leave the base, and we're going to get as much more iron as possible before we research bots. If you are slower, oh, you're going to need steel furnaces as well. Right, yeah, if you're slower, you're probably going to have a hard time getting a lot of ore lanes to the base before you research bots. You're probably going to be going at a slower pace. Your research is going to be faster than you, and you might not get very much to the base in time. But ideally, your goal is to connect as much ore to the base as possible right now, pre-bot, so that as soon as bots come up, they can start building the base and using it faster. Your mileage may vary. So research. Now that you're ready to actually do the research to bots, you want oil, lube, electric engines, robotics for bot frames, construction bots, not logi bots, and then bot speed 1 and bot speed 2. You're then going to add these undergrounds in here to upgrade this lane of iron. Take your steel furnaces, start mass upgrading. There's probably going to be iron plates in these furnaces. So again, if you're getting really fast and finding that you are out of iron, you can find some in these furnaces. Delete that splitter just like we did before. Technically right now you only have one lane of iron, but once you add the steel furnaces, you can delete the splitter. Doesn't matter. And let's get another lane of iron in there as fast as we can. And then the next one that you could prioritize is the copper. So same thing. You're going to be upgrading all of these to steel furnaces. And then you're going to be dragging this through here. And what you do is, so I did this on the iron without saying anything. There's a belt here with logic on it. And right now, your steel furnaces are all going onto this singular belt. All you want to do is turn this belt right here manually. And that is going to run the first section of steel furnaces up, allowing this section of steel furnaces to make a separate full belt. So another thing that you need to prioritize, you'll notice I've researched advanced oil and lubricant at this point. Once those things research, you need to go into your main base blueprint. And at this point, you're going to be stamping stage 2. There's a note on it specifically that it says oil recipe. Literally all this changes, and watch the oil. So watch this section right here. All this is going to change is the advanced oil. It's going to flip from regular oil to advanced oil. That's it. So we now have our copper upgraded, our iron upgraded. If you are a slower runner, that's probably all you're going to get upgraded. But ideally, and what I did in the PB is you're trying to drag about 5 lanes of iron to the base right now, because the first thing bots are going to do is get 5 lanes of iron ready to process. So my goal was to have 5 lanes of iron brought to the base. You can start using the blueprints now that are 28s if you'd like, because you're going to have mining prods soon. So from this point on, 28s are fine if you'd rather switch to those. It is absolutely a higher priority to get bots to start coming out. So if you are slower and you're doing what I'm doing right now and your bot research is done, you should stop doing this. So I will stop doing this now, and you should go back to the base and you should make bots start coming out. So to get bots to start coming out, we're going to grab the RoboPort from this box right here, place it. You're going to grab the red chest from this box right here. You're going to red chest the red chest, and then you're going to red chest the RoboPort chest. And then you are going to grab your base blueprint and you're going to go to number 3. It says force after bots. This one's a little harder to line up, but you're going to hold shift and control and force stamp in number 3. That is going to get the bots to start flying and placing red chests and RoboPorts. Feel free to give bots back some of the RoboPorts and some of the red chests if you took a very significant amount of them. So now your bot should be able to start flying and doing that stuff. For me, as I've gotten faster, I typically go manually build a section down here for power. I don't think you guys have to do that, but I would typically go manually build a bunch of that power. Something you will have to do is go into the red circuit chest and grab 1 stack of them. Go into the green circuits and grab 1 stack, and then just make sure you have some steel. You can grab some from here if you have to. You're going to make 15 yellow storage chests. So 1, 2, 3. Then give back the red circuits to this box, green circuits to those boxes, and give steel back to your roboports. So now your goal is to make storage chests for the bots. So right here, like I said, that one we put some in earlier is there. And then you're going to want to distribute stuff accordingly. So the box right here that's underneath power poles should be the one that has wood in it. If you have a bunch of extra wood, go into any random storage chest and you're going to start giving bots access to as many things as possible that you don't need and they do. So the only things you really need as a player right now are belts, underground belts, steel furnaces, some power poles, and some roboports. So I'm going to give them pretty much all my splitters, burner inserters, red inserters, blue inserters, all my pipe, my pumps, my yellow chests. I usually keep 1 red chest on me just in case I need to give something to the bots later. Give them steam engines, boilers, brick, drills, pump jacks, assembler 2s, chem plants. Usually you should give them most of your power poles. Then you're going to make a deconstruction planner that is trees and rocks only, which I still haven't put in the blueprints. I should put these in the blueprints. I just haven't yet. Deconstruct as many trees and rocks near your base that you possibly can, so you can start making power poles and getting your bots to do that for you. This box that's got 500 stone furnaces in it, you should pick up the stone furnaces that are in that box at some point during this section. And in your mall, this is one of the only hand deliveries that's essential. There's a box right here feeding the boilers that's red. You want to dump all of the stone furnaces into that box. The next thing you're looking to do is to get this section ready to process, and you also have to get the ore that we started to build. It should be up here, so we'll have to do that after, but typically my ore would already be there. There are little tiny belt sections marking all the drags that you have to make here. If you are very, very, very slow, I would not do any of this manual dragging. I would just let the base and the bots handle it. But to pick up your pace, all of these belts and steel furnaces can be manually built, which will save you a lot of time as you get faster, because the bot time is very limited. These are all extremely simple, straight drags that you can make. Anywhere that you see a belt is when you stop. So like you start here and then you stop as soon as you see belt. So here. One other little, let's call it an oddity of these blueprints, is that, as I said earlier, the coal belt that's coming in here, because the patch is flippable, sometimes your coal is going to be on the right and sometimes it's going to be on the left. Right now, coal is on the left. Our goal is to make this belt be a full lane of iron as much as possible, because right here the coal gets removed and now we only have a half lane. This iron that's coming out of this side of the print comes down in here and joins this belt. And we'd like that iron to prioritize the same side of the belt that the coal is on. So right now, coal is on the left. There is a splitter here where you can pick the side you want to prioritize. So right now, by default, it is set up with the belt to go to the right. If you wanted it on the right, you just have to output priority the splitter to the right. Now, that is wrong in this case because the iron is already on the right. Because the coal is on the left, we want the iron coming out of here to be on the same side that the coal is on. So then I would output priority to the left. If it's to the left, you also have to jut this belt in like this, which will now prioritize the iron coming out of here to the left, meaning it will share the side the coal is on, meaning when it comes onto this belt, if there is iron running on the right of this, it will not overlap with this iron. A little confusing, but it takes 2 seconds to do and it will get you more iron. Is this important to do if you're slow? Not really. The noise that you hear right now is the bots saying that they want stuff to do. You'll notice it says, I am being lazy. The bots want to do stuff. So typically, When you hear that, you are going to check what they're missing, which I can see right now is nothing that's super concerning. Things that you would not stamp through. So like right now, the base is missing prods, mods. We don't care about the modules. We don't care as much about the refineries. I know all of that stuff will catch up. The things we do not want to stamp through is if we're missing belt, splitters, underground belt, inserters of any color, basically primary guts of the base that like if one splitter is missing can seriously screw things up. In this case, we're not missing that stuff. So I'm going to stamp phase 4, line it up, hold shift, click. It's going to stamp in the next phase of your blueprints. It'll make that noise go away. Yeah, power poles. If you're missing power poles, don't stamp through that. So at this point in the run, like I would say that for a new runner, the hardest part is done. You've built most of the manual stuff you're gonna have to build. You can start letting bots do a lot of work for you, and you're mostly just gonna be dragging belts. Let's do tech. So once your bot speed 2 finishes, I personally prioritize inserter cap 2, which we've already done, mining prod 1, and then modules of every single type except quality. We don't want quality yet. And the reason we don't want quality yet, this is important, is that you'll notice that efficiency modules and prod modules and speed modules each take 50 bottles. They're basically free. Quality takes 500. This is a very, very expensive research. I do not touch this until after silo, personally. You want the other 3, not quality. Then we can do accumulators, we can do explosives. Okay. You'll notice that as I'm dragging that iron in, by the way, I'm replacing, like there was iron markers here. I'm just replacing them. So like these little markers are here to tell you what ore goes where. Pretty common sense. I think you get it. Once you get to bots, you're then going to just move in this direction and just try to connect in the exact order as shown. All right, tech. So other tech, we need pre-silo, military science, just research right to military science. You're going to want a military weapons 1 for shooting speed and damage. Get 1 on each of them. You're going to want stronger, not quality. You're going to want stronger explosives researched once. You are going to want the personal battery. So typically what I do is I get heavy armor and I go armor, modular armor, personal solar panels, and personal batteries. Get that line down to personal batteries. Now we can leave this alone for a while. The next stuff we're going to do is heading towards silo. So anytime you need belts, there is a catch for belt that gets added right here after bots. Your on patch. So you might remember we left a section here unbuilt earlier. Your on patch has to be connected via roboports. There's a roboport that we left unbuilt next to the on patch to remind you, connect it. Your on patch is going to start making extra belt for you right now. There is logic on all of these assemblers, which again is why it's critical that this gets connected via roboports and built. That once your base has enough belt in it, it's going to stop making belt. Because ideally, we would have the on patch sending iron to the base to make everything. But belt will be at a critical low point if you get faster, so it goes into belt making mode a little bit. All of the belt the on patch made gets caught right here, so you can pick it up like that. Your main belt catch from the on patch is here, and then you've also got belt being made right here in your mall. I believe at this point, every single tech that I want pre-silo is done. If you're very, very, very slow, you can incorporate things like damage 2, and you can incorporate things like quality modules. You can start dipping into techs that are not straight at the silo if you're slower, because your base is going to need more time to catch up, and you're not going to have steel and other things. But if you feel like you've got enough, you can look up silo in the list, and you can just click on every single tech that is directly prerequisiting silo, and then silo itself. I usually prioritize the blue circuits and the LDS and the fuel, because that's the stuff you need for rocket parts. And so if by chance the base can make those sooner, you want it to, but that is your tech order to silo now. When you're out of belt, there is a section outside the base that also makes belt right here. Find the bots usually prioritize this section, so it usually has less belt in it than the one inside the base, because that section is closer to what the bots are building. But it is an option for you. And so this is what I was saying earlier. If you're finding that bots are way faster than you can be, we can just start getting bots to do a lot more stuff. So right here, we can just have bots start building all of this belt infrastructure for us. So we will have a silo soon. The blueprints currently only put in 4 silos early on. So one of these 4 silos will get placed. You're going to want to go into your blueprint book and grab your Nauvis rockets book and scroll it to starter pack and put it on your bar. And you're going to want your ships book at white science and put it on your bar. As soon as a silo is crafted, which is happening now, we'll start prepping the white science ship. Next thing we can do is science post silo. So you're going to want cargo, bot cargo size 1. You're going to want lab speed 3, lab speed 4. You're going to want mining prod 2, and you're going to want uranium mining. Now I am here in the main base. If I was trying to be a better and faster runner, I would build more of this stuff for the bots. So ideally you are collecting belt from everywhere that belt is in your base, and you are getting to the backside and building more belt for your bots, because they will not be as fast as you. It will help them, but if you're not that fast, it's fine. Just let the bots do everything. There's a grenade builder right here next to the red circuits. You're going to want to take some of the grenades out. I'll just take all of them, because any case on the backside where there's biter nests, you might have to clear ore patches so that your bots can build there, and they can't do that for you. You have to get the grenades and do that manually. Like, there's no alarms to tell you that your silo is built. There's no alarms to tell you that it's ready to launch. You just have to like pay attention to it and be on top of it. Basically, when your silo is done, you're going to want to stamp it with the starter pack rocket book. So the way that this book works, Nauvis Rockets, is it's just full of silos that have different titles on them for every single mixed or manual rocket you're going to launch for the entire run. The first thing in the book, so if you look at the whole book, is going to be starter pack. And then you're going to have, in order of them being built, you're going to have the white science, the wall ships, the Gleba loads, the Fulgora loads, Vulcanus loads, Aquilo, etc., 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 etc. First thing you're going to need to do is launch a starter pack so you can make a white science ship. When you've put the starter pack into this silo, you can hit add a platform. I usually call it white 1, call it whatever you want. That is going to be your first of 2 white science ships. Now that you have it built up here and you have a space platform put in here, you don't have to worry about it. You will get an alert when that launches the starter pack. Another thing you're going to need is 2 lanes of stone. They get tucked into the side right here. So behind steel. They're not a high priority. You don't need it until you start making military and purple, but I know I'm going to need it, and this is the closest stone patch. So typically what I do in runs is just send a line of holes and roboports towards a stone patch so that I know later on when I actually want to build it, it will be quick and efficient to do so. Did my ship get built and I didn't pay attention? It looks like it did. Okay, I didn't notice this, but it got built. All right, so once your first white science ship is up and running, you are going to want to go to the white science ship, delete all the space platform, that is on it, and then you're going to want to stamp in your white science normal ship blueprint on top of it. You can then click the ship and check off Nauvis Carbon, just like that. So white science is built, Nauvis Carbon is checked. Then on Nauvis, you're going to want to put space platform into your silos to send to white science. Every single ship that you build that is for white science or a wall ship for the inner planets is going to need 2 loads of space platform, which is why this book specifically says space platform 2 per ship. All right, uranium has finished researching. Next things that we need is we need purple science, we need yellow science, we need quality 1, bullets to 2. We can do all of that. But deliver to white 1. I still need a second load of space platform. I'm going to put a second load in while that's launching. This ship is, this silo is now built. I can put in white science 1 on this silo. For white science ships, again, it's all listed in this book, but you can see that for white science, there's just a 1 and a 2. So white science is a total of 4 launches plus a starter pack. So they get made pretty quick. So that's 2 loads of space platform. This has white science 1 on it, and this has white science 2 on it. Once all 4 of those launches get made, we can make another white science ship. Tech. So other tech we need power armor, legs, book bags, all the stuff for power armor. For uranium, we're getting close to the point where we want to touch uranium, because another research we need to do is nuclear power, and we need that before leaving for Gleba, because we need things that nuclear power unlocks before going to Gleba, because we need them on Gleba. So on this map, which I'm happy about, the uranium is terrible. It's way down here in the dark. Hopefully on a good map, you'll have uranium, you know, like over here somewhere close. There are several points around the base where there is sulfuric acid ready to leave the base. So right here, there's a pump with sulfuric acid, and there's 2 exit points. You can drag undergrounds from here going left, or here going up, and cleanly go in any direction to take sulfuric from here. You can go that way with it. And then down here at the bottom of the base, there is a similar pump right here that will be having sulfuric brought to it from here, where it can leave from this pump. And then you can take sulfuric from here or here in any direction and leave the base. So that would cover sulfuric that's like around this main hub. Sulfuric that's way down here under the power is suboptimal, but there is a way to access it. So there's a pump right here that can do sulfuric. And then if you need the sulfuric to keep going down and around the future power, we're going to go into our blueprints and get this sulfuric acid pipe around power blueprint. And you are going to rotate it such that it matches the pump right here. So if I zoom out, it's going to look like a giant box like this. And the pump that you're going to put it on is not near the steam edges. You're going down from the steam edges a little bit. There's a pump with a roboport next to it. You can mirror it up, stamp it in, and it's going to create a nice box of sulfuric that goes around the power. That will give you access to uranium that's like anywhere down here in some horrible location where it's like a little harder to get sulfuric acid to. So I've been lazy and not checking my rockets. Bad me. That's going to cost me time. I'm still not making any white science. Let's deliver these to White 1. We've now made a complete White Science 1 ship. Now we need to make another ship also doing white science. So let's put a starter pack. Let's put some space platform, and let's put white science mixed 1. And let's add a ship. I usually call my second ship Aquilo White 2. The reason I do that is because later on, this second white science ship is going to turn into a ship that goes to Aquilo. And so I find having it called Aquilo is just better for later for my brain. Okay, so when you find uranium, you're going to grab your uranium book in the blueprints, and you're going to set it up and get the drills as good as possible. And then you're going to stamp stage 1, and then you're going to force stamp stage 2 over it. That is going to put in a pipe infrastructure, and then make sure that every single drill will touch pipe, even if you have some missing drills. I have some missing drills in this blueprint, but because I stamped 1 first, I know the pipe infrastructure is going to be safely touching all of it. Then we just have to get sulfuric to it. So you'll notice because we built this outer rim of sulfuric, there's a exit point for sulfuric here. If we had our uranium way over here, you can cleanly drag this sulfuric pipe to the right, and it'll go underneath your entire power build over to whatever. In this case, I'm more to the south, so I'm just going to bring it down this way. And this way. Get these 2 things to touch. We're just trying to research with white science now and leave the planet. I have a second white science ship. I can delete the platform, stamp the ship in, same as before. We're going to check off Nauvis carbon. Let's grab did our power armor get fully built? I'm guessing that it did, and I just didn't hear the alarm because I'm talking about a lot of stuff. There is an alarm here that will go off 1 time when your power armor is done. You'll hear it 1 time. I believe if I put these in here, we're hearing it again. So basically what's happening is that when this box has everything that you need for power armor, it will move the roboport, the personal roboports over to this box, and it'll play that alarm 1 time. When you hear that alarm, it means your power armor is done. You can pick up these 2 boxes, and you can then put on your legs, batteries, roboports, and power or your solar panels. And up here next to the heating towers, there's a red box that's doing nothing. You can dump your entire inventory into this box, including your pistol and your ammo. All you should have now is a submachine gun, everything from your power armor. You are now ready to leave this planet We now have 2 completed white sign ships. We can now add a space platform called Gleba ship and start prepping that one. So let's do a starter pack. Let's do platform. Now we can skip the white science ones and go to wall ship. We want wall ship mixed 1, wall ship mixed 2, and wall ship mixed 3. Wall ships are what is going to take you to Gleba, Fulgora, and Vulcanus. So this is roughly what your tech order should look like when you're trying to leave the planet. You want to get nuclear power ASAP. You want to get space platform, or sorry, the thrusters, Gleba, Logi system. Beacons can jump the queue if you get 75 purple science. If you get 75 purple science, beacons can jump up in the queue as fast as you need them to, because it's a super fast tech to research, and it will help you launch rockets faster. And then speed module 2s, and then you can go all in on bot speed for the other planets. There is going to be an alarm on the Gleba ship to indicate that it is safe to go. So basically all we're doing now is sitting and waiting until we hear that alarm. We're waiting for all of these ships to fill with auto launches and hear that alarm. You can check on the status of that alarm by looking at this combinator right here at the bottom. This has a list of all the material that we're waiting on until the alarm will sound. So you can see it's missing plates, circuits, and steel, and all of those things are being auto-requested and should be on the way now. Sorry about the annoying alarm. It's very annoying because you want to listen to it right away. As soon as you hear this, you have to leave. So I'm gonna turn it off. I'm just gonna lower the volume so we can talk over it a little. When you hear this very annoying alarm, you're going to go to the Gleba ship and you are going to stamp Gleba ship. So originally it was Gleba loader. Now you want Gleba ship. Stamp it, the alarm will shut up for you. Then you can hit automatic, and the entire schedule for the ship is all laid in. You do not have to ever change it. You're just following along with what is in the schedule list, never changing it. You're going to turn on every single active request that it has. So Gleba Carbon, Edge Carbon, Nauvis Resupply, and Gleba requests. You are going to click the hub of the ship and hit the little pin button in the top right so you can see it here easily. And then you're going to hit drop to planet Gleba. That way you will know when it arrives. You do not need to babysit it. Now we need to add another platform. We are going to add a platform called Fulgora ship. We want the base to now start prepping the Fulgora ship ASAP. Because these were left on auto, this one picked up a starter pack. It's making the Fulgora ship. Now we have to send space platform. And again, wall ship 1, wall ship 2, wall ship 3. And then we're going to skip the Gleba mix and go right to Fulgora mixed 1. As soon as that ship goes up, our goal... Oh, and then also, we left Nauvis. So now we want to stamp with a force stamp, stage 16. You'll notice the title of the stamp is Force After Leaving Nauvis. So let's go to our Fulgora ship. Same as always, we're going to delete everything on it. And then we are going to stamp the Fulgora loader. We are then going to set the main load on and then flip back to Nauvis and keep sending stuff up to the Fulgora ship from every single thing that is ready. We have a bunch of annoying alarms happening. First, let's take a look at the stamp uranium beacons alarm. Let's delete it. Okay. And then we're going to come down here to the uranium and stamp in uranium stage 3 on top of it. That's just going to put beacons in. It's just a reminder, because if you don't do that, you will not get enough uranium. It'll be very bad. So it's just a reminder to stamp beacons. The next alarm that's going off is right here. It is a Nauvis Carbon done alarm. We can delete the Nauvis Carbon done alarm. We can go to Aquilo White 2 and we can turn off Nauvis Carbon. And we can go to White 1 and we can turn off Nauvis Carbon. Research. So on your way, we've done...
Pay attention, man.
Why do you need carbon on Nauvis? We send carbon to Aquilo later to fuel the last ship. So we just try to hoard up 1,000 of it on Nauvis. Simple as that. So priority for tech right now, I usually try to sneak in as many bot speed and cargo techs as possible. Ideally getting to bot speed 5. Then you're going to want to get your automation 3 research. And you're going to want to get lab speed 5. And then after all of that, ideally you can sneak in the Fulgora and the Cobra X. All right, let's keep launching stuff to the Fulgora ship. So deliver to Fulgora. And then after I've done all the mixed loads, which I've pretty much done now, I can start setting them all to auto. The only one that you cannot launch is this one. This one needs heating towers, which you will not have access to until you do something on Gleba. So just don't worry about that. Let's go look at Gleba. So dropping stuff to planets when you arrive at them. This part can be a little stressful. I'm going to try to simplify it as much as I can. First thing I'm going to do is there's an alarm on the Gleba ship. It's relatively a peaceful alarm, and you can use it if you'd like, or you can not use it if you don't want. The purpose of the alarm is to tell you that this ship is not moving, and that it's possible you need to check what's going on the planet because it's expecting a delivery and maybe there's a problem. It's hard to wire up an alarm perfectly to say that something on the planet exists and we want it in space. So the workaround is to just have an alarm telling me the ship is not moving. Is it annoying? It can be. So if you don't want it, just turn it down, but at least keep the visual to tell you that, hey, the Gleba ship is not doing anything. Now, we're going to drop stuff down to Nauvis. I just hold left control and I start yeeting full stacks of things. Starting from the top left, you can click until you see repair packs. You're not dropping repair packs. So just click, click. Slow is smooth and smooth is faster. If you drop something you don't want to, it's going to be bad. You're not dropping iron ore and you're not dropping ice. So you can skip over to the plates. You are not dropping carbon. For gear, you want to keep at least one stack on the ship because they're making repair packs. So I now use shift clicking and I click gear stacks out. I want at least 4 stacks that are full. And then the 5th stack I drop because I just leave 1 on the ship. I'm going to drop all the wire. I'm going to drop all the circuits except for, again, 1 stack of circuits. Then I can drop, that's green circuits, I should say. Then I'm going to drop all the red, the blue, the engines, the electric engines, the frames, and the LDS. I don't need space platform. I don't need walls. This is what should be remaining on a ship when you're done dropping to one of the planets. It needs repair packs. It needs a source of fuel. It needs stuff to make more repair packs, and it needs space platform, and it means walls. We're leaving all of this stuff here, okay? Then we can go back to our Gleba and start planning this. Okay, so when you get to Gleba, typically what I do, you're going to want to craft a car, 20 construction bots, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to want to craft 6 steam engines. You're going to want to craft 5 iron chests, 5 burner inserters, 5 pipe, excuse me, and 1 offshore pump. Then you are going to decon material to get spoilage and trees. And you're going to walk towards the purple plants. I always walk towards the purple plants first. Okay, this very annoying alarm is telling you that silos are done. When you hear this alarm, you can delete it. And you can also delete the silo assembler and every single inserter around it. Gleba can be a little nasty for like offshore pump and base placement. It's really hard to see the water. So I usually grab an offshore pump first. I just find it's easier to place the offshore pump first and then put the base down. Only thing I didn't make is power poles. So I do 20 at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this iron chest right here, I fill with solid fuel and then I remove half. I remove 5 stacks of solid fuel back to my inventory. Gleba is a planet that you do have to go at a certain pace on, because if you don't go fast enough, and I recommend individual practicing of this planet, if you do not go fast enough, you will run out of solid fuel before you get your heating tower up, and you'll brick the planet or make it really, really hard on yourself. You need to pick up enough iron stromatolites that you can make at least 6 stone furnaces. Then we can put down this blueprint here that is going to sit on the stone patches with these drills, and we can get into the handcrafting now to make the rest of this. There is a combinator that gets placed here to tell you the handcrafting order that you need to follow on this planet. You'll notice that I've already handcrafted everything you see in the top row. I just know that by heart. And most of this I have memorized. But if you are confused about what to handcraft, this is the order very specifically. So in order to get this little thing running, I need 13. And when it says 13 yellow belt, it means click it that many times. So it's going to make 26. So I'm going to go 2 right clicks and 3 left clicks. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Then The order is important here. You want to do the blue, then the red, then the yellow, because if you do the yellow first, it will use those yellow in the crafting of the blue and the red possibly, and then you won't have the counts right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then bullets 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're gonna make 2 beacons, a speaker, and as many poles as we can. So 2 beacons, a speaker, and then poles. I'll fix this for the release. It says 80, it should be 75. It should be 75, and the reason for that is that we brought exactly enough wire to make 75 poles and not handcraft wire. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you make another one, you will not have enough wire. And you don't want to use any of your copper plates. They're meant for a heating tower. So 75 poles, done. Now, make sure that this entire build is done. Get solid fuel, put it into these furnaces. I just do a couple of drags, I don't know, 6 or 7 per, whatever. You want all of this making brick. This is now making landfill. Take any spoilage you've collected and shove it into this assembler and this box. First, you're going to craft this section. It's important that you don't start crafting this section down here until you have everything here placed, because if you start crafting blue inserters and you haven't placed all the yellow ones here, again, it's going to mess up your count. It's going to use a yellow inserter to make a blue inserter, which you don't want it to do. So just simple, make sure that yeah, works as you intend. So 45, 7, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Then it's 1, 9, 1. So 1, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then 34 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then speed modules 1, 2, 3, 4. Once that entire crafting queue is set, you can go to this box feeding pipe and put 2 stacks of iron plates. Then the box here that feeds the modules and the Logibots, you can give it all your green circuits, all your red circuits, all your robo frames. Then you're gonna pick up 1 stack of green circuits. So that's what this box should look like right now. Now your goal, while all of that stuff is crafting and while you're handcrafting, is to get to your purple plants. You're gonna wanna bring poles, but not connect them. You're gonna bring poles down to the purple plants. Anytime you can't make a gap like this, so you can just shift click it and use landfill where you have to. So same thing down here. Ideally, you're getting to your purple plants and you're connecting roboports. But again, we want this roboport to be unpowered. Our power is really limited right now. We do not want power connected to this stuff. In your book, you should have a purple plants print. Stamp in 2 of those or 3 if they're not very good. This is very, very thick. You're trying to get 2 that have high coverage of green squares. Then make sure that the roboports that you've placed are going to see all of the logistics chests. I can tell that this just sees them all. Now I'm good and I can leave. If your inventory is jammed, take a break at this iron chest and dump whatever you have to free up as much of your inventory as you can. Now we are going to run to the green plants. You can do whatever's easiest for you here. I often use a car. But if you have lots of brains in your inventory, you can eat brains and it will make you run faster. On your way to green plants, you're trying to get a copper stromatolite like I just did, because your base at Nauvis is trying to make a heating tower and it can't make a heating tower until it has that copper stromatolite picked up, because that's what unlocks the research. Okay, so we're at tomatoes now. You're going to be looking for a green plant stamp, and this one is not as good, so I'm going to make 3 of these. I'm going to make 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. If you find they're not as good, you can make up to 3 of these per plant location, not more than that. 3 per plant location is the limit. Or you could do a 4 and a 2, but like you have enough resources to make 6 of these and that's it. Now you're going to want, again, same as before, you're going to want roboports to be able to cover as many, like all of the logistics chests. I try to place my roboports where they're not going to need landfill, because having landfill cover the entire roboport is expensive. Last thing that you need to do, and I usually do this after the green plants, is you need to go find a large egg raft and kill it, because it will have 9 eggs in it. It is safer to find a large egg raft than it is to do a bunch of small ones, because the small ones have variance in how much they drop, and if you get unlucky, you might get all 1s and not get enough eggs. It's just safer to go find a large egg raft and shoot it. Sometimes, like on this map, you have to go really, really, really far away, All right, so I typically shoot the eggs from the car because the car shoots faster. So I get in the car, I blast the eggs. It's going to use your bullets better and more quickly. And that single large one is going to have 9 eggs, which is all the eggs that you need. I now have 14 eggs because I also killed some small ones. Let's run back. All right, on your way back to your main base now, you're going to make sure that this Roboport line connects backwards all the way down to here. And again, they're not going to be powered. That's okay. So right now you're going to place 6 assemblers and you're going to set all of them to biochambers. And you're going to pick up all the landfill and nutrients that are here. And then you're going to fill one and remove, fill 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 and remove. You want all 6 of these making a biochamber. You want 6 exactly and not more than 6. Once that's happening, you can be a little more efficient if you need more more spoilage and nutrients. You can come decon these nutrient spoilage towers. And you can put all of that spoilage again into this assembler or this box, which is going to make nutrients, which you're going to need to start up the main system. All right, these assemblers should now have 6 biochambers in them, so let's pick them up. You can also pick up brick from here. And again, if your inventory is slammed, we're going to fix it in a second. We're going to start making the main Gleba base now. So in the next stamp of your book is going to be Gleba main 1. Let's put that here. And then you're going to connect water via pipe, which you should have 200 pipe here. You're going to bring pipe up and connect water right into here. So I always try to aim these concrete assemblers at the power plant slightly because that's your entrance for water into this base. Try to remove boom puffs before you build your base. They're super annoying and they hurt everything and it's just awful and yeah, no good. Okay. There's chests here that are waiting for tomatoes here, brains here. So in your tomatoes, you're going to need like 10 nutrients. The other ones need a little bit less. The tomatoes are very nutrient heavy and then 1 nutrient in this. That should get this. All you want to see is 5 bioflux come out, which ends up here, which turns this on. As soon as this is on, you're good. Put all of your eggs into this, all of them into this. And then everything else into this. It does not need nutrients or eggs. It will get them from the belt. You are now making biochambers. The system is good now. You can let this make 13 biochambers. We're now basically waiting for this system to make biochambers for us. While it is doing that, we urgently want to get brick from here. And we want to take that brick and put it into all of these concrete assemblers and take all of your iron ore, which you left in that box, and put it into all of these concrete assemblers as well. We want to start making concrete as fast as possible because we need concrete to make a heating tower, which the timing of is very critical so that we can get off of this power because this power is running on limited fuel and you can see it only has 62 left. It's almost out. I'm going to grab all of the modules from this box. It's designed to stop at 4721, which it hit. So I'm going to empty that out. You can then pick up all these assemblers and stuff so it doesn't make any more. Other thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of our circuits and some of our landfill. So let's do our heating tower. The next thing we need to craft is 5 agricultural towers because we made 5 of them, 3 at tomatoes, 2 at brains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're crafting our heating tower, our 5 agricultural towers. Every other thing that we have is just going to be spammed into this until we make 13 biochambers with this biochamber. So you can see it's at 12 right above my head. It's at 12. We want it to hit 13, which it just did. As soon as it hits 13, we can empty it, take our Gleba book, and we can force stamp in Gleba main 2. And if you don't know where the biochambers are, they end up in this yellow chest here, so you can pick them up and your bots will do everything. Now you have science running. You have a heating tower. When your heating tower is built, put all of your remaining solid fuel into your heating tower and then anything that doesn't fit in it into this green box right here. Okay? Your heating tower is now gaining heat. The goal is that that hits at least 500 degrees before we run out of solid fuel down here, which only has 20 left. The next thing we need to do is we set up networks of roboports going this way, and we want to turn those on. We're not turning those on until after our heating tower has enough heat. We're just waiting for that one thing. Oh, another thing you're trying to do is you're trying to get enough concrete out of these. So keep pushing brick and iron into it you're trying to make a silo as fast as you possibly can, because the goal right now is to get off of this planet as fast as possible. Make our silo. The last thing we need concrete for is the cargo landing pad, which again, we're just going to let that keep humming until we can make a cargo landing pad. Okay, what's our heating tower at now? It's over 500. As soon as it's over 500, we are in the clear officially. Let's connect the power that goes that way. And let's connect the power that goes that way. We can always, excuse me, add a roboport somewhere close to this base because it's got tons of stuff that needs to be in robo range. Make sure all your excess spoilage still ends up here. Now we can release all of our bots, all the Logi bots, all the construction bots. Go to this red chest, give it all your landfill, all your inserters, all your power poles, any pipe you have left over after having crafted the silo. Give it all your chests, your red and blue chests. Give it your agricultural towers, your biochambers. Give it all of your modules, your assemblers, your roboports, anything you think bots are going to need. Now that the silo is placed, we can feed it with LDS and blue circuits. It's going to get rocket fuel from the build as intended. And last thing we need to do is just keep forcing out concrete so that we can make our cargo landing pad. It's helpful to grab some nutrients and just pop them into these buildings. Bots will do it eventually, but your construction bots are trying to do a lot of other stuff right now, so not the end of the world to give that some nutrients by hand. Once your cargo landing pad is up, you can give it all of your LDS and blue circuits. You want to make sure all your LDS and blue circuits end up in here so that they end up in the silo to launch stuff. At that point, whatever is left in your inventory, it does not matter what it is, can all get shoved into a red box anywhere. So I usually use this red box here. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to run over here where all of this carbon is. There's tons of carbon that's been getting yeeted down from space since our ship has been parked up there. And ideally, again, just to save time for bots later, moving stuff around, we want to come bring all that carbon to this iron chest and put it here. We're just trying to fill this iron chest with carbon. This is now completely done. All we need to do is have this rocket launch and get us out of here. Now, there's another ship we're supposed to be maintaining, which is the Fulgora ship. You might notice that the alarm for the Fulgora ship has not gone off, and the reason for that is that one of the silos, this one, still has heating towers in it that we have not launched. Let's send these to the Fulgora ship, and if I was a betting man, I would say that that's the last thing that this needs to sound the alarm to leave, which looks accurate. So that noise is telling us the Fulgora ship is ready. We're going to stamp the Fulgora ship over the loader and then just set it to auto, and it should start flying to Fulgora. After it starts flying, you can set all these requests. Only after it starts flying, you can set all these requests. By the way, these ships are designed such that it should automatically prime this engine with fuel. If for some reason your blueprint did not do that, you can click this chem plant and uncheck this enable disable feature, which will allow it to just make fuel. And when it is done making fuel, you do not want the ship to have more than 300 fuel of either type. You want it to stay under 300 of both types. So just make sure you don't make more than 300 of both types. Let's go back to Gleba. This is ready to launch. When this is ready to launch, if your inventory is empty, you should be able to click this, travel, and go to the Gleba ship. The courses of these ships are automatically laid in. And so as soon as the passenger is present on this ship, it is going to immediately head to Fulgora. The next thing we need to do is tech. So let's check our tech list. We're starting to get ready to go to Vulcanus next, and we're getting ready to land on Fulgora. On Fulgora, we're going to need every single module at stage 2. So let's get the 3 remaining modules and send them to quality 2. After that, we need to research Power Armor Mark 2. So military 3, military 4, armor Mark 2. And then we're also going to research battery Mark 2s and the portable fission reactor. When all of this stuff is done, then we can add in Planet Discovery Vulcanus. Okay. The next thing we need to do is add a platform called the Vulcanus ship. This is going to be the ship that starts prepping a load for Vulcanus the same way we did Gleba, the same way we did Fulgora. As soon as the Vulcanus ship exists, you can delete the rim, go into the book and put the Vulcanus loader. You can click on the Vulcanus main load. Again, this is all the same stuff you did for the other ships. All right, that little ticking noise, that's telling my Fulgora ship is not moving right now, which means it's at Fulgora. I'm gonna just lower the alarms. I don't need to hear it again. And as soon as it gets to Fulgora, I can start emptying everything out of it. The process here is identical to the Gleba process. We're emptying until we see repair packs, and then stop. Do not drop those. And then again until we see iron ore. Skip to iron plates. On this one, we need solid fuel, not carbon. Same thing. All the gear except one. And then all the circuits except for one. You can drop the red circuits, blue circuits, the engines. I do not drop the electric engines immediately. I drop the frames first. The reason for that is this ship will leave Fulgora airspace as soon as it has no electric engines on it. So your goal should be to drop electric engines last, because of the logic, the way I wrote it, which may be stupid, is that once the electric engines aren't here, the ship's gonna leave. So, oh my God. Back to the Fulgora ship, drop the electric engines. So there. Now the ship has no electric engines and everything else is dropped that I want to drop. It's immediately heading to Gleba to pick up science. Landing on Fulgora, pick up all the boxes that are here. Yo, Tarjan, thank you for following. Welcome in. When you are on Fulgora, you are going to craft a car, 5 construction bots only. You're going to craft 10 lightning rods. You're going to craft 5 storage chests, 3 chem plants, 20 arms, 20 red arms, sorry, 20 blue arms, 20 red arms, and then 40 yellow arms. Then you are trying to find one of these large vault ruins and picking it up because you need to pick up that vault ruin to make recyclers. Then you're trying to find a suitable place to build your base. When you look at the screenshot, ideally you're looking for a large island that has a lot of scrap on it. All right, so this island is large. This island has tons of scrap on it. And furthermore, it is adjacent and touching where I can connect power to this empty section. We have no cliffs on Fulgora, so there's not much you need to worry about. The first thing that you want to craft when you get to Fulgora is 2 sets of this accumulator blueprint. And the more of it you can build by hand, the better. Once 2 of these are built, the next thing you're going to try to build is this power blueprint. And I'm going to update my hotbar to have better poles on it. And then you want a roboport near all of this stuff. And then and it should have lightning collectors in it to keep everything safe. You can manually build those if you feel like it's not building them fast enough. Another thing I should be crafting that I forgot about is roughly 150 more construction bots. Does the number need to be precise? No, it does not need to be precise, but roughly that many. Okay, so find a suitable spot around all these scrap to put your main base blueprint. You can check at 7 how big it's going to be, but then you want to scroll down and place 1 first. We're going to stamp in 1 everywhere you can. Try to manually pick up all these giant piles of scrap for your bots. And then if your inventory is bricking, just keep crafting scrap so that you can clear your inventory of scrap. The goal is to, as quickly as possible, get these yellow chests set up, to get these assemblers set up. One more thing you need to craft is a single stone furnace. Then you're going to want to go into your inventory and go into these groups and set Fulgora player 1 as your logistics request group. It's gonna have everything you want requested. Then you can hit trash unrequested. Then I've thrown away everything I need to make Logibots. You should have circuits and bot frames, which you can put into this Logibot assembler. You want to manually start these recycler assemblers as a very high priority. Put stone into here. Now you're trying to basically manually on this planet manage everything you see right here. Your player should not have to move another step. You are literally going to stand next to these assemblers and just micromanage every single one of them, including this furnace for stone, because you need brick for lightning collectors. So just keep all of this stuff running, manually pull out of all of it. Anything that you don't need, again, is going to be trash unrequested. So I'm going to dump my inventory, and then set trash unrequested. Now when I handcraft stuff, the Logibots will just come get it because I have trash unrequested on. This combinator is giving you a preview of what you need to craft before the next stamp of the base. So I've already crafted all of those inserters. The only thing I'm going to prioritize now is getting some blue chests done. So 1, 2. Now with that done, I can stamp in Fulgora 2. The other thing you need to start doing as soon as possible is spamming scrap drills everywhere. So let's do that first, because we will not be able to make anything for the base if we don't spam out scrap drills. And I am force stamping these scrap drills in, and the reason I'm doing that is they're replacing lightning collectors all over the place, and if you don't force stamp it, the game does not automatically remove lightning collectors for you. It thinks that you want them. We don't want them. We want to get rid of the native lightning collectors that are on the planet, force stamp through them, and get all of this built as soon as possible. Another thing that you're going to have to manually do on this planet is grab the lightning rods and just sparsely put them throughout these large scrap prints. So once you get a bunch of scrap drills in, we're going to try to push Fulgora main base to stage 2. And again, same as before, you're force stamping the Fulgora main base every single time. Because again, you want it to remove lightning collectors, which it will not do automatically unless you are force stamping. So you're always force stamping. The next thing that you're going to want to check again is check the combinator here to tell you what to build. When you see pipe, you don't need to handcraft it. Just keep shoving iron into here. The other thing you can do to check what Fulgora needs is just go into this list and see that Fulgora is currently waiting on recyclers, inserters, a speaker. Total amount of scrap drills we're trying to get on the base. You want to see at least 400. So when you just copy everything you've made, sorry, I said 400, you want 100. 100 recyclers. 100 recyclers is what you're trying to hit. So now I should be at 104 recyclers. That is enough. Let's get the third version of the base stamped in right here. It's okay if my handcrafting is not keeping up with what the combinator is telling me. I can always just check what I'm missing here. So when I check here, I can see that I'm missing like underground pipe, inserters, chests, recyclers. I see it all. Anything I'm missing, I want to try to handcraft. So let's do the offshore pump. Let's do the offshore pump, by the way, won't be in the list, but you need it. So make sure you do the offshore pump. Oh yeah, sorry. This is also super important. Tech order. So I've been a little distracted. You need to research carbon fiber as fast as possible. So the Fulgora ship that brought material to this planet dropped material here and then immediately... I know you guys love these alarms. I know you do. Vulcanus ship, super simple. Send it to Vulcanus. Don't turn these requests on. Just send it to Vulcanus and you're done. Back to what I was saying. The Fulgora ship brings material to Fulgora. Then it does a trip to Gleba to pick up the first 1,000 science, which it then brings to Nauvis so that you can research carbon fiber. Then the Fulgora ship comes back to Fulgora to pick up the player. After that, the Gleba ship is the only one that goes back and forth between Gleba and Nauvis. It never does anything else. But we need to research carbon fiber as fast as possible because at Gleba, we need to make 20 carbon fiber because the Gleba ship has a mixed load that it needs to pick up of carbon fiber, science, and bioflux that it's like waiting to get. And there's an alarm on Gleba to tell us that carbon fiber is done. So all of this to say, just make sure you research carbon fiber. I forgot to research carbon fiber. Very important that you research carbon fiber. Make sure you do that. You're now waiting for the bots to fill your inventory with stuff for EM plants. So you can make the first one right here. So as soon as the first one is crafting from this assembler, we're going to empty everything out of it. We only want to make one EM plant from that assembler. As soon as that is done, we're going to pick up the assembler, place this EM plant, and then start crafting EM plants from here. Another thing I have not done is brought heavy oil. So you're going to want to place an offshore pump somewhere where you can get heavy oil from the ocean, connect a line of pipe into this chem plant that's next to the refined concrete where the heavy oil goes. Important to do that as soon as possible because you need that for the light oil, which you need for fuel, which you're going to need to launch rockets. So just do that as soon as you can. Again, you're just sitting here babysitting this EM plant until... So this next EM plant needs to make 7 more EM plants. You need a grand total of 8 EM plants. Okay, that little ticking noise is our 20 carbon fiber alarm. So we researched carbon fiber. We have 20 of it now. The game wants us to know we have 20 of it because we have a special book called Planet Rockets. In it, this has a bioflux and fiber mixed load. We're going to stamp that here, and that is going to fill this with a 20 carbon fiber load, which is enough to make one rocket turret. It is also going to give us a mix of bioflux and a bunch of science. As soon as this rocket is full, you are going to send it up. We need this number to turn into 7. It's at 6. That should be 7. It is now done. We can pick it up before it makes any more. We've made a total of 8 EM plants. You can see them here. We can remove EM plants from this list, and then we can add a new section called Fulgora Player 2. That is going to add more requests for rocket silo crafting. We can stamp Fulgora main base 4, which is going to put more beacons in. Our goal now is to craft anything the bots need, as well as 2 rocket silos. On Fulgora, another thing you're going to need before you leave this planet, you are going to need to go to the book and find the accumulator stamps. You want at least 2 of these very large accumulator stamps to be placed. If there's no room for that, you can do a whole bunch of these smaller ones. Next thing you need on Fulgora, there's a book called Gear Removal. You need to place 2 of these, ideally near your scrap drills and within robo range. But basically, right now, we're trying to do 2 launches off this planet before we can leave. Launch number 1 is going to be our Planet Rockets book, and we're going to launch a EM plant load. We're going to put that on this silo. And then the other launch we're trying to do is the player. We're trying to launch the player up. Let's go back to Gleba, because I believe on the planet we haven't launched this rocket yet. So let's launch this mixed rocket up to the ship. And then once this mixed load on Gleba has been sent, we can flip this back to auto and pretty much never look at it again. It will do every other launch for the entire run automatically. Let's check tech. So tech that you can research at this point, you need explosives 2, and you need rocketry, because you're trying to get to rocket turrets. And then while you're waiting to research rocket turrets, you can do bullet upgrades. So do bullet upgrades 3, do bullet upgrades 4, do explosives upgrades 3. You're gonna need tons of explosives, bullet speed, bullet damage. So if you're done all the research we've reviewed already, you are going to prep rocket turrets to be researchable, and then just load your queue with all damage upgrades until you actually get Gleba Science back to Nauvis. Gleba Science back to Nauvis is happening on this ship right now. So you need to research rocket turrets. By the time this ship gets home, you want to have rocket turrets being researched. Travel to Fulgora. Again, the Fulgora ship has its course all laid in, so it's waiting for EM plants and the passenger to be present, and then it's immediately going to go to Nauvis and then Vulcanus. You don't have to do a single thing. You launch yourself up to the ship, it's going to go for you. Let's now go look at the Vulcanus ship, which is sitting in orbit around Vulcanus. We can start cutting material from here. It's going to be the exact same thing as every other ship. You're going to launch every single thing you see until it gets to repair packs. Stop. Then you're going to do it again, I believe, until iron ore. Stop. Skip ice. Do plates. Steel. Skip carbon. Do lubricant. Leave a stack of gear. Leave a stack of circuits. Cut red circuits. Blue circuits. Cut electric engines. Cut frames. Cut LDS. Cut rocket fuel. Don't cut these asteroids or space platform. You're going to cut the armor, the fission reactor, the battery, and the exoskeleton. As always, this is going to look exactly the same every single time on all of the inner planets. The goal right now with your tech is to get biolabs. To get biolabs, you first need rocket turrets and capture bot rockets, which is going to happen with the current load of science. The next load of science is going to be enough to get the biolabs themselves. So that's entirely the goal right now with science, is just getting biolabs. And then otherwise, it's just researching damage for bullets and explosives. The next thing we're going to want to do is start getting the Aquilo ship ready. So every single time we go to a new planet, there's a ship somewhere to start getting ready to go to its planet. Aquilo is the last one. We're taking the Aquilo white ship. We're going to delete every single thing on it and send it back to nothing. And then carefully We're gonna drop out all of these asteroids manually. Just be really careful, because if you accidentally drop all of this stuff out of the ship, it's super annoying. Once all of that is empty, we want to request 700 space platform. So turn on this space platform requester. Okay, sorry. In your blueprint book, you have a steel to platforms book. You just want to make sure it's lined up the correct way with wire on the top. And then just hold shift and I drag it right through the entire thing. Okay, I hear a thumping noise. So that thumping noise is telling us that Fulgora has a stamp that needs to happen. It's the same thumping noise that happened when bots used to happen. Fulgora has several more stamps it needs to reach its final form. So if you grab your Fulgora book, you'll notice the first one is 5 that says alarm. So basically when the alarm's happening, we force stamp 5. Then when the alarm happens again, we'll force stamp 6. And when the alarm happens again, we'll force stamp 7. So again, on this ship, I have this huge request for space platform. The other thing I'm going to do is after it's received a lot of space platform, I want to stamp in the ship Aquilo Loader 1. When Aquilo Loader 1 goes in, I'm going to set the request here for platform and water. And then on Nauvis, in my book, there's Aquilo Loader mixed stamps. I'm going to start stamping all the Aquilo Loader mixed stamps onto all of these rockets. Okay. This alarm is telling me that EM plants have arrived on Nauvis, okay? I can delete this alarm and I can stamp 17. Literally what the alarm says is stamp 17 EM plants on Nauvis. And I'm also researching rocket turrets, which is good because the Gleba ship has already gotten here and left. We want to research rocket turrets and captivity. Then we can go back to researching bullets and explosives to the point that we are using no planetary research, just the basic ones from Nauvis. And then there's going to be an alarm on the Aquilo Loader ship that goes off when it is ready for you to stamp more of it. I'm so sorry for that alarm. I know it is god-awful terrible, but it's just telling you to stamp the Loader 2. You can set this ammo building request on. Okay, Fulgora ship is almost at Vulcanus. I did not set my drop, but I should have set drop to Vulcanus. Players at Vulcanus now. All right, on Vulcanus, let's pick up all of our stuff. And first thing you're gonna do on Vulcanus is switch your power armor. So open up your existing armor and empty it. Put your Mark II on. Open your Mark II. You want reactors, legs, batteries, roboports. That's what your armor should look like now. First thing you're doing, let's get our Vulcanus book, replace our Gleba book, which we don't need anymore. Let's build 20 construction bots, 30 logistics bots, 1 offshore pump, and 12 iron chests. Then you're going to grab your book and set up power. You want to point the chem plant towards roughly the sulfuric acid section, which is down here. That is probably Fulgora, another stamp here. So just go to Fulgora, stamp in 7 with a force stamp. 7 should be the last one that you have to stamp. Fulgora should leave you alone for a while now. You have 7 pump jacks. We're going to place all 7 of them. Decon EM plants on Nauvis. Speed 2s are done. Hey, so the base counts how many modules you're making, and it only uses the EM plants for a certain amount of time. So we're already done with them. You can decon them and move on. So after you get the pump jacks set up to this chem plant, you're going to run power over to the calcite. You're going to hand mine like 4 calcite. And then you're going to do roboport connection. Make sure it touches these red boxes. And then over here, make sure it touches this blue box. Hand fill calcite into the chem plant. Release all the Logibots that you have. Place a yellow chest and just fill it with pretty much literally whatever. Anything except your construction bots. Don't fill it with your construction bots. Right now, you have a clean inventory. You've got power slowly churning to life. Your goal right now is to mine 1,000 of this tungsten ore. I find it helpful to put it somewhere on my inventory so I can track it. We're now going to just run around the planet and mine 1,000 tungsten ore. Okay, so you'll notice I'm handcrafting stone furnaces right now. This happens every time you do this. Your inventory is going to fill up. Handcraft as many stone furnaces as you possibly can. That is going to remove stone from your inventory. to give you more space to keep picking up ore. Again, you're trying to do this until you have 1,000 tungsten ore. If you reach a point where your inventory looks like this, take your stone furnaces that you've been crafting, lay them out, and then take ore and fill it into all the furnaces. All right, now we can come back down here. We've got our 1,000 tungsten ore. We're going to set up our Vulcanus base. What we're looking at, so I'm going to set up the Vulcanus base right around here, and then I'm going to explain why. So right here where I'm standing, this belt is to receive coal. So in a perfect world, your coal patch being here, you're going to set up a line of drills that pushes coal into this belt like that. And so that is why I generally always set up my base underneath the coal patch where it's as close to the power I've made as possible, but able to most easily receive coal from this vertical belt. In this case, vertical, sometimes horizontal. So the next blueprint in your book will be the coal drills. So again, just line them up so that they're all on coal. And then drag your belt down into here. Make sure power is connected from main base to these drills. Make sure your bots have time to build all of this. And then we're going to go down this way and we're going to bring power with us to the main power. You can now pick up the box that you left here earlier. Next thing you're going to want to do is take your sulfuric acid, bring your sulfuric acid up to your base, and make sure that it touches right here. All right, once all of this is built, you've got all of this tungsten ore. You're going to put all your tungsten ore in these assemblers and in these two chests right here. So all that tungsten ore is now here. We have sulfuric acid, we have coal, we are making tungsten carbide. Next thing I'm gonna do is bring red belt. And so you should have a screenshot. Again, you should know roughly the easiest patch of tungsten that you can possibly find. The next thing you're doing once you're getting the carbide set up is we have to wait for all of that ore to turn into carbide. And so I find efficiently while waiting, I'm gonna drag red belt to my tungsten patch. All right, found the tungsten. You should have a pretty good amount of red belt that you can be like, I don't want to say wasteful, but you can not be perfect. Like you should have a pretty big. I have never had a map where I don't have tungsten close enough where like a red belt's a problem. It's pretty safe to use red belt inefficiently. Then we're just going to bring power poles backwards. Power is connected. So now our carbide should be by this point nearly done. When that is the case, we're going to pick up these two blue inserters and these two iron chests. We are going to pick up the red inserters here, and we're going to pick up these iron chests here. You should now have in your inventory all the carbide you made. We are going to go get, and if it's still crafting carbide, go get lava first. You need lava. Let's go get a source of lava, which is here. And now you should have somewhat near your base, you should have sulfuric acid, you should have lava, and you can stamp in the foundry maker blueprint. Let's connect power to that. This section is very delicate. You have to be careful. If you accidentally miscraft here, you're gonna have a bad time. So you are going to empty out your lube barrels. They go into this pipe. All of your lube is now in this pipe. If you delete pipe, your run is over. Well, your PB is over. You're now going to make one foundry in this assembler and then immediately remove all of the other material. If you make a second foundry, your PB is over. You will not, you're gonna screw up the build. Okay, when that foundry is done, pick it up and it gets placed. Pump everything into the foundry now to make more foundries. The total amount of foundries you want this to make is 6. You don't have to do any math. You're just going to use all of your refined concrete and steel. It has now made 6 foundries. Now you can safely pick all of this up. Once you have 6 foundries, basically a total of 7 foundries because you made 1 and then 6. Now we're going to stamp the next print, which is the drills maker. We are going to bring sulfuric acid to the drills maker here. And then you are going to bring lava to the drills maker up here. Make sure that your drills maker is connected to power and make sure that it has RoboPort coverage because these things need calcite. Now you have a setup that will make you drills here, which you're going to manually fill this with drills. Your concrete is coming out from here to make a silo. So this one box here needs to take all of your brick. You should have exactly 400 brick put in this box to make concrete. You are trying now to get this to make 16 of the big mining drills for you. Okay, so that alarm right now, by the way, is telling us that Fulgora Homium is done. We can just delete that alarm. We don't need to do anything with it right now. It's just a good to know. I'll go over Fulgora stuff in a second. I just first want to get these 50. Okay, so there, done. Again, you don't have to worry about overcrafting mining drills because once you are out of drills and red circuits, it's done. You now have 16 of them. So when I pick it up, I have 16. Before you leave, reset the recipe on this one to steel. Now run towards the drills. While that is making concrete and steel for our silo and our cargo landing pad, we can run all the way back to our drill setup and we can craft them, or place them, I should say. 16 big mining drills, tons of speed modules, and a full red belt of that ore placed and on its way back. There we go. While this is making stuff for my silo, I want to review some stuff. So our Gleba ship just got back to Nauvis and we're getting an alarm that says carbon fiber done. What this means is we have all the carbon fiber we expect to have for the entire run. So I can go to my Gleba ship now and I can manually remove the carbon fiber request from it. Yeah, let me focus on Vulcanus again for a second. Let's pick up all this stuff and we can craft a silo and a landing pad. Perfect. Pick up all the refineries, pick up all the inserters and all the chests. Next thing you're going to want to do is go to your Vulcanus book and you're going to want to stamp in the Vulcanus main base 2 or stamp it in place. And then the last thing you need to do is take the lava that you brought here earlier and run it over this way so that it connects into the lava pipe right here. You should already have sulfuric acid connecting here. So now you should have a fully built Vulcanus base. The only thing you might run out of is yellow belt right here. Just manually replace it with red. Doesn't matter if it's red or yellow. It's just the amount of yellow belt is made so that this connects perfectly to this. So sometimes you run out of yellow belt here. Just replace it with red. Doesn't matter either way. It's fine. Your silo, manually fill it with circuits, LDS, and fuel. Put the rest of the circuits, LDS, and fuel in the landing pad here. You can take all of your bots and release them. And then these iron chests can take all the garbage that you have. Then you're going to place a yellow chest and give it everything else that you have so the bots have access to all of it. Now you are going to manually run to the calcite. And then you're going to put 500 calcite into the ship because we want to launch this to Vulcanus, to the Vulcanus ship, I should say. Put the rest in here. And then any extra can just go in the iron. The other thing you're going to need is all of your tungsten carbide, and you're going to need to go to one of the science assemblers and manually just keep stealing material from it. What you are trying to get right now is a minimum of 150 tungsten carbide and 60 tungsten steel. Put all of that into a yellow chest. If you have to manually remove other stuff, that's fine. It's more important to have the carbide. The steel, we don't need at all. Now, this 500 calcite can be sent to Vulcanus. In our planetary mixed loads, we should have a tungsten mixed load that we can put on the Vulcanus silo. That is going to take the carbide, steel, and a bit of science. So carbide, steel, and a bit of science. This is also going to be sent to the Vulcanus ship. And then you, the player, are going to go to the Vulcanus ship. And then the Vulcanus ship can be set to auto. And then once I have traveled to the Vulcanus ship, I've done 3 launches to the ship right now. I've done 500 calcite, the tungsten mix load, and the player. The last thing that's needed is science. So I'm going to go to the ship and turn on the Vulcanus requests. It says after Aquilo, like all in caps. Just you do it at the end right now. Okay, that super annoying alarm is telling us to stamp the edge ship. So what that means is we have made enough ammo, we have made enough rockets, and there's enough concrete. It's basically ready to go to Aquilo. Now, I know that you guys get a little stressed with the final trip to Aquilo because it's really stressful and you sometimes run out of bullets and you run out of rockets. If you feel like that is going to happen to you, you can go into these arms and just manually change the limit here to, let's say, 5,500, and it'll make a few more bullets. Maybe you want a few more rockets. Let's change this to 3,200 on all the things that put rockets in. So if you feel like you want this to run a little bit longer, you can manually edit this ship to make that happen. That's okay. I like it as minimized as possible because I'm trying to push the speed, and for me, this works. If you want a little cushion, you can change the inserters to give you a little bit more of a cushion, okay? Right now, what we're trying to do is get every single ship, which is currently on Fulgora, Gleba, and Vulcanus. We're trying to get all of them back to Nauvis so that we can research biolabs and get the heck out of here. Which apparently I totally forgot about the biter egg handling. Okay, sorry, I forgot about this. You should do this early, like before even leaving Nauvis. There's a book called Egg Capture. You want to set up your rocket silo where it can only touch 2 egg nests. And then in the same book, you want to set up these egg capture things on the nests, connect power to them, and make sure that it's in robo range because there's logistics chests here. So now the bots are going to come out and place that stuff. Okay, so we're trying to get all of these ships back to Nauvis as fast as possible. So on Fulgora, we heard that alarm go off earlier. That alarm was telling us that our holmium plates are done. So you have 2 books that need to be launched here, a holmium mix load and a quality 2 load. So we're going to put those 2 ships in. Another thing that you can do is you can delete, like, let's say 3 of the assemblers that are making holmium here. And you can remove the quality modules from the other assemblers. And the reason you're doing that is you don't need quality holmium anymore, and you want to slow down the rate that it's stealing holmium solution, because it's going to limit the amount of science you can make. Again, at a slower pace, it probably won't make a big difference, but as you get faster, you are going to be stealing too much holmium solution from science. So just make sure you've deleted an adequate amount, that this pipe trends up. We want this pipe trending full and not having all of it go into holmium plates. Simple. All right, let's take these 2 mix loads, deliver them to the Fulgora ship, which should be sitting there waiting. Then we're gonna set these 2 silos to automatic. Okay, we've captured some biters. Let's research biolabs. This was ready to stamp the edge ship, and I see that it's made those extra bullets and rockets that I want, which makes me a little happier because I'm a slower runner and I want a little bit of peace of mind. Then I'm going to delete all of these sections out of the ship. The stuff that you really don't want to delete, like really don't want to delete, is the water tanks. Pretty much every other entity. Oh, and the reactor. Do not delete the reactor. Do not delete the tanks of water. Everything else can be kind of screwed up a little bit, but like you want it to look roughly like this. Then you are going to force stamp in the edge ship, and this little edge piece at the side you can trim out of there. Then you are going to select the Aquilo main base and the Gleba don't drop. We now want to do the main base mixed request. So Aquilo main base 1, main base 2, main base 3, main base 4, main base 5, main base 6, main base 7, main base 8. So again, our Fulgora ship on its way to Nauvis. Good. Gleba ship on its way to Nauvis. Good. Vulcanus ship. Don't know what's going on here. It's waiting for science. Why? It's got plenty. Oh, I forgot to put the Vulcanus silo to auto. There you go. Once these are captured, oh my, they don't have any bioflux, but I should have so much. Is it all turning into... That's interesting. I've never had these die before on a run. You must stamp this in earlier. Stamp this in before leaving. Like when you leave for Nauvis, have this stamped in, because then it'll get enough bioflux to stay on for the entire run. I did not do that, and I might pay the price. If I have to, I'll go into editor to fix it. Not the end of the world. Let's keep sending stuff to Aquilo. So again, you're gonna notice that some of these rockets don't have everything they need because you're waiting for stuff from planets like quality modules. That's okay. You do want to deconstruct this rocket turret because you need to send it up to the Aquilo ship One thing I will warn you is on this Aquilo ship, once you've turned on this main base request, you don't turn it off. Do not turn it off under any circumstances, because if you do, Nauvis is requesting certain things that you want on that ship. So just be very delicate and make sure you unrequest stuff or whatever you got to do. Otherwise, you'll have a major problem or it'll start sending stuff back down. Okay, so our bioflux is now done. There's an alarm that it tells us bioflux is done. Set Gleba science to 4,000. We can delete that alarm. We're going to go to our Gleba ship and we're going to change the request here to 4,000 and delete the bioflux request. Again, there's an alarm that reminds you to do this. Biolabs have now been researched. Once you research biolabs, you're going to want to stamp stage 18. Okay, this is the biolabs 1 stamp. It is going to put in 66% of our biolabs. It's going to put in 2/3 of our biolabs here, but it's going to allow these original labs to continue running while it does that. What that means is we are not going to do any research at all that has a planetary science pack in it. That includes 7 for explosives because it's got Gleba science in it. No planetary research whatsoever until we've done the next stamp, which is going to delete all of these labs here. We're just waiting. One thing you can do is you can manually check your uranium setup. So this is done. Once these two are not doing anything anymore and this box is sitting full of uranium, this is done. I typically will then deconstruct those 2 centrifuges in that box and every single beacon that's here. And the reason that I do that is because right now, in order to make biolabs, the bots are doing this super long run of uranium, and I find that sometimes like they're waiting too long for that trip. So if I deconstruct the whole thing, it will bring all that uranium ore here much more quickly because it'll bring it closer to like a centralized point in the base. I have nothing to research now except for going to Aquilo, so I am going to stamp 19, which is going to force deconstruct the basic labs. So I force stamp that in. All of our basic labs are gone now, meaning it is safe to research towards the Aquilo research, and then also to go to explosives 7 and explosives 8. Something I have forgotten to do is you need to drop to Nauvis, and you know, keen observers will note I forgot to do this in my PB. Drop to Nauvis so that you can go to Aquilo too. All right, so when you land on Nauvis, you're gonna make a run towards the assembler right here that has the bot personal roboports in it. It's like right next to the landing pad. You're gonna go into this box and grab 4 personal roboports. You're gonna go into your inventory and remove 2 legs, and then put in their place 4 personal roboports, and you can go into the same box and dump the legs. That stamp is telling us to leave for Aquilo now. You can delete this alarm. You don't need it yelling at you. It's just telling you that it has everything it needs to go to Aquilo. Then you've got to find a rocket that you can take up to that ship as well. All right, this one's done. Deliver to me to Aquilo. There we go. All right, the ship is ready to move. You have to do this manually. When the ship is ready to move, you just click Aquilo. Boom, it's gonna go. The amount of ammo and rockets it has here, provided that you have the researches we've already discussed and are now researching explosives 7 and 8, is enough to get to Aquilo safely. You do not need to babysit this ship. You do not need to look at this ship. I want to go to Vulcanus and make sure that this rocket silo is on auto. I want to go to Gleba, make sure this rocket silo is on auto. Go to Fulgora and make sure those silos are on auto. Just a small thing just to make sure those are all on auto. Every single ship now should be on the way to its own planet to get science, and if so, you're good. You're totally good. So we just literally have to watch the Aquilo ship fly to Aquilo. Yep, so I have a blueprint right here called the ammo loader, and this blueprint literally just has ammo in it, and we stamp it and they fill with ammo. Now, we're at Aquilo, let's drop. Something I do when I get to Aquilo is I do not restamp ammo. I just leave it here. It'll use what it uses. I just don't worry about it. If you don't restamp ammo and you leave it alone, it'll waste the minimum amount possible. For dropping items to Aquilo strategy. This is a little different than the other planets, and it's complicated and it's challenging. I like to do all the concrete immediately, and then I like to do all the steel. Then I like to do all the electric engines, the blue circuits, and the pipe. Then I like to do the red circuits and the green circuits and the frames. And then let's say 2 stacks of iron plates. Then we're gonna do the yellow chests. The reason I do that in that very, very precise order, when I pick up everything I've dropped now, I should be able to craft 20 construction bots, 80 logistics bots, an offshore pump, and a rocket silo. And by crafting the rocket silo, it just easily clears up the clutter, and then I can continue dropping what's left. You don't need the belt. We can drop the arms, the poles, all the pipe, the boxes, the roboports, the combinator. You might need the constant combinator. Just drop them. It doesn't matter. You want the refined concrete. You don't need all this brick. You can do the panels, the accumulators, the reactors, all the heat pipe. You can do pretty much everything now. Like, you're gonna need all of this stuff right until you get to the iron ore. Don't drop the iron ore. Don't drop all the plates. All of these plates you don't need. You do need all the solid fuel. You don't need the explosives. Do not drop the carbon, the water bottles. Drop the LDS. Drop the rocket fuel. Drop the uranium fuel. Do not drop calcite. Drop the tungsten carbide and the steel. All the holmium. All the superconductors. The carbon fiber. Once you've dropped carbon fiber, that should be the last thing on the list. Now, on the planet, I can start picking everything up. I'm still probably gonna have an inventory problem. So I hit my inventory problem, place a yellow chest, and fill it with a bunch of stuff you're not gonna need right away. So you could, like, let's say half the concrete, half the heat pipe, all the blue circuits, the carbide, the holmium, the superconductors, the carbon fiber. Then you should be able to pick up everything else. Next thing you gotta do on Aquilo is you're going to need to pick up as much ice as possible, which is in the way of the main base. So our Aquilo base, you'll notice there's 4 reactors at the top, or if I hold it like this at the left. If the Aquilo base is in this orientation, on the right side of the Aquilo base is where you're going to ideally look to connect brine, lithium brine. And on the reactor side is where you're going to be looking to connect fluorine. I know from the screenshot and from looking around on the map that I've got brine down here at the bottom, which again, you're going to have to judge, like, is horizontal or vertical better? Only stamp phase 1 first. So you'll notice that some of the stuff never got stamped. So there's like only 1 reactor here. The reason for that is the game has this weird property where until you've placed concrete on a tile, it will not automatically blueprint that tile. So like every type of terrain needs you to have placed concrete on it at least once. So you can just get your concrete and do this. Just wave it all around, place at least 1 tile of ice platform and place concrete on it as well, which I did. Now, when I force stamp Aquilo in right here, it should place all the entities appropriately. Once you get your 4 reactors down, take your 50 uranium fuel, drag it in a circle until all 4 reactors have roughly an even amount of fuel in it. Once this is fully built, make sure you put ice into this chem plant. This chem plant is isolated from the rest of the network. It's using these 5 panels to melt this ice, to get water, to get power into this. The next thing you're trying to do is prep the base to receive brine and also to receive the ammoniacal solution from the water. Brine, we know, comes from this end. So sometimes when I'm waiting for ice, I just get a thin line of ice platform. I head over to where I know brine is going to be. And then I can start prepping base. Receive that. If you have 5 brine spots, that's really good. 6 is insane. One of the first things you want to set up on this planet is steel furnaces. You should have 6 of them. They can be placed in the snow. You don't need to put anything on them. Fill them with solid fuel. Fill them with lithium. You want to start spamming out lithium plates as fast as possible because you're going to need these for your cryo plants. You can now stamp stage 2 of the Aquilo print. Yes, I know power is not ready, but that's okay. We can still start getting this all ready to go. Good. And all that ice you've been collecting, you can put it into these chem plants here, into these blue boxes here. So you're going to want blue circuits, superconductors, and refined concrete in this box. Blue circuits, superconductors, and refined concrete. And then all of this plating you've been making, again, same thing, put it in this box. Everything that cryo plants needs in this box. We now should have power actually functioning because these are running. all of this is on. So power looks like it is operating correctly. We want to get the first 4 cryo plants up as fast as possible to start making ice. In order to make that ice, this pipe that's sticking out at the tip of the base needs a offshore pump that is popping in like that to get the ammoniacal solution in. That's going to put ammoniacal solution in. All of this is going to start making quality ice now. This is what we want. There's also 2 chem plants here that you can put regular holmium in, and they will start producing lithium. And in order for those to function, we need to make sure that brine is connected. The brine pipe is the one that you see right here. We're going to send our brine pipe over here and send it down this way. And then good. Our heat is just getting here now. So another thing you're going to want to do is get your speed 2 modules and speed 2 every single one of these pump jacks. Another thing you can do if you do not have enough brine, and you might need to do a lot on some maps, is let's get a beacon down and let's put speed 2s in the beacon and get as many beacons up that are touching multiple pump jacks as you reasonably can. This needs to make a total of, I think it's 13 cryo plants. So I can tell it has not made enough. And the reason I can tell it hasn't made enough is it still had refined concrete in it. We bring enough refined concrete for exactly 13 cryo plants and not more. So as soon as that has made 13 cryo plants, it is done. We can then pick it up, pick up the box that's got all the intermediates in it and pick up that box. And then we should be able to force stamp the next stage of the blueprint. One thing we can do before force stamping is we can go get our fluorine. So let's send a pipe this way for fluorine. Again, I'm being a bit of a hypocrite because I said the more of this you do for the boss, the better. And here I am letting them do none of it themselves. 2, 3, 4. And when you're bringing power from fluorine or from anything, try not to touch this pole. You want to touch the main network, not that pole. That pole is only providing power for that singular chem plant that is like your bootstrap chem plant. Back into the main base. Let's stamp phase 3. So again, force stamp. And by this point, you should be able to release all these Logibots that you're holding onto. You want to keep flushing these boxes and then manually moving ice everywhere ice is requested. So these all request ice. You want to fill those manually. And again, just regular ice. These request ice. Again, you want to fill them manually. The more you can manually fill these, the better. And then, okay, once you have this stamp in, these chem plants are going to switch their usage of regular holmium to quality holmium. You need to make sure you evenly split your quality holmium between these 2 chem plants. That's very important. We can stamp Aquilo stage 4. This is the final stamp that's going to start making our science. And this box right here that's feeding this cryo plant, we want to fill with all of our lithium and all of our solid fuel. If this stamp is now fully in place, you're going to want to delete the 4 requester chests here for ice platform. They are going to use your Logibots way too much. Next thing you can do is take your uncommon ice and just manually fill all of these cryo plants with uncommon ice. Then you can take everything else. So hold on, before we do that, let's make our silo now. So we should have a silo in our inventory. I like to put the silo somehow touching, if I can, this lower line of beacons, because it'll just make it go faster. And then we're going to fill it with all of the rocket parts it needs to load. It does not need modules. Don't worry about that. Just fill it with rocket parts. And then we can take our entire inventory and just dump it in chests just to clear space. But I'm going to keep the rocket parts on me because I'm going to try to keep filling that silo. On Aquilo, you can hit L. You're basically watching this. You want this. You're manually loading this science into the rocket. You're waiting until this reaches 1,000 science. We can set up our research queue. So we're going to want to go from quantum processors. This is very specific. To railgun. To fusion reactor, to Promethium, and then if you really want to, you can go 8, 9, 10, whatever you want for bullet upgrades, doesn't matter. Last thing that we are doing on Nauvis, we are going to take our Nauvis rockets book and go to the railgun ammo mixed load 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We want 8 That's it. It's exactly 8. That's all of our railgun stuff. Okay. Science is reaching 1,000 right now. When it reaches 1,000, we're just going to manually empty these chests. Try not to accidentally click on a beacon, because if you do, you'll take the modules out like that, which we don't want. Just only click the science, put the 1,000 science here, deliver it to Aquilo. You can reload that with rocket parts so that it preps another rocket. The number we're trying to hit now is 400. We're trying to hit 400. All right, we're about to hit 400 science. Again, we want 400. It's a little more than we need, but a little bit of extra is good, because you don't want to have an issue where you're like waiting on the spread of science to be perfect on Nauvis end. This now has the loads of science we needed to have on it. It's ready to go. We're going to manually send it back to Nauvis. Before we do that, we're going to stamp our ammo book on the guns, or it will blow up, and that will be bad. We're going to send this back to Nauvis now. It's got its ammo stamp. It should be good to go. On Aquilo, we are going to force stamp the Aquilo Quantum Processors stamp. Keep putting rocket parts into here, because you need to have enough to launch 2 more rockets. At this point, what you are looking to see is that every single one of these has every material in it that it needs to craft something. You are trying to now research the edge as fast as possible, get the ship back to Aquilo, build a whole bunch of railgun ammo, and build 2 railguns and get them on the ship. Okay, the ship is at Nauvis. Let's start launching. So we're going to deliver it to Aquilo. Another nice thing about naming your Aquilo ship Aquilo is that it starts with an A, and this alphabetically listed order of ships will always have it at the top, which is handy. All of the launches are on the way here. We'll send this back to Aquilo now. Something I forgot to do completely because I'm silly. There is a stamp number 20, which you'll see says force after researching Aquilo. It could have made this many more biolabs, which I'll put in now for funsies. I forgot. The reason that it's like that is to make sure that the original biolabs have enough science in them to research Aquilo quickly. If you add these extra ones in, it spreads the science a little too thin. But then after you leave for Aquilo, you're looking to bulk research as hard as possible. So it's perfectly fine to put these in after leaving for Aquilo. I just forgot. Stamp 20. As soon as you leave for Aquilo, put in stamp 20. Ship is on its way back. We've put ammo in it. Research is happening. If you look where the player is, these are all running, and we're making the quantum processors. Again, we're looking for this number to go to 200. 200. And then the ship, oh, all of these have stopped. I have no lithium plates. That's a small mistake. Small mistake. The runs had many. Okay, so you need lithium plates for these to run. So yeah, just make sure you've got enough lithium plates, which this should make. So you should have enough regular holmium to put into these chem plants to make lithium, to keep lithium plates coming out, to keep all of this on. The ship, as soon as this ship gets back to Aquilo, you need it to start making railgun ammo. There is a singular stamp for that, which is in the ship book called Ship's Railgun Ammo Builder. So the ship is now parking at Aquilo. We're going to stamp Railgun Ammo Builder on it now. That is going to put this little extra appendage in that's going to make our railgun ammo. On Aquilo, again, we're monitoring these quantum processors until they get to 200. Okay, we're at 200 quantum processors. You'll notice that shuts all of these off completely. Once we hit 200, we're going to want to force stamp in Aquilo railguns. The bots will take like 10 years to pick all this stuff up, so feel free to like give them some manual assistance and pick up all the X's, and then just grab everything railguns need and just jam them in as hard as you can. One, the bots will finish the rest. Once you get a railgun, go over to the silo, put the railgun in it, deliver it to Aquilo, and then ideally you're going to get one more railgun. All right, second railgun here. Second railgun goes up, and again, back to the Aquilo white ship. If all of these assemblers are not doing anything, it probably means they've already made 10 railgun ammo each. You're looking for them to make 10 railgun ammo each, and they should do it at exactly the same time because they have the exact same amount of speed. Then you could delete them all, which will get railgun ammo back in your ship. delete this little appendage sticking out here that's doing power. Now your ship should look normal again. And then once again, we're gonna take our ammo book. I like to put it on my 1 hotkey for the flight. We're gonna restamp ammo in one more time. Our last railgun just showed up. I am gonna save the game and call it new guide run. You should save the game at this point. If you are doing this run for the first time, or even just remotely a beginner, you should save the game, because you can save scum. And if you are on pace for a really huge PB and could use that save scum, you should do it. Now, we're gonna open up our book, put it down at the bottom so you can just see automatic and paused, and then zoom to the point you find is comfortable, and click edge. Boom. Put this down at the bottom. Now you're in for the most intense nail gripping finish of your life. This is super stressful to do, especially when you're on a huge PB pace, especially when you're on a world record pace. I hope someday for one of you watching that you will be on world record pace right now and flying this ship to the edge, hoping to do it in 5 minutes or less. I hope you can experience the heart pumping, butt puckering emotion that comes along with world record pace flying this fucking jalopy to the edge of space, okay? It's stressful as hell. Here we go. So, general strategy for when you're doing this. I like to keep my eye on the railguns if I have to, and just you're scanning this front area, seeing if it has too many asteroids that you might want to slow down. I recommend you play this very cautiously. Sometimes the rocket turrets will over focus stuff that's not right in front of you and shoot stuff to the side instead, and a regular medium or big asteroid will just pump right into the ship and kill you. It's super random. It happens where like the rockets just don't target what you want them to target. Occasionally while you are flying, press 1, force stamp the guns back onto this print so that you keep pushing ammo into these guns. It does not happen automatically. You have to force stamp it in repeatedly. Once you hit, like I haven't had to pause the ship yet. Generally, once you hit about 50,000, you are going to have to start feathering and pausing the ship. So like I just broke 3 asteroids. I would typically give it a little bit of a pause there to give it time to clear all that stuff. It depends on the density of asteroids that's coming at the ship. It's just, honestly, you should practice this as many times as possible before it's like live on a real run. Yes, you've got 2 railguns. Yeah, you've got tons of firepower, but like sometimes you get a really rough spawn of asteroids and you have to feather pause the ship, and it's just a matter of getting used to. You just got to get used to it. You just got used to it. It's really hard to like, you can explain it, but at some point you just got to play it and get used to it. All right, we should be good to go. Clear skies at the end. You love to see it. There you go, guys. There's your guide on finishing Factorio Space Age with my blueprints in sub 6 hours. In September, there is a big charity event going on in this channel. I am personally donating $5 to charity for every single run that is submitted to the category. The category should be live on speedrun.com this week. I am going to personally donate of my own money $5 to charity for every single run that gets submitted to the category. So the more of you that do it, the better. I'm also going to personally do 60 runs in September, 2 a day. And I'm going to donate $5 for every single one of those, because the more activity, the better. I'd really love it if this on speedrun.com got tons of activity, tons of people playing, tons of people trying it. Even if you're not going to like do the run 100 times, I get it. Doing it once is fun. Experiencing it one time is super, super fun. It'll deepen your appreciation of watching speedrunners play the game. And you'll get a time on speedrun.com, and you'll force me to throw some money at charity. So participate. It'll be awesome. It should be fun.